Welcome once again to another live stream edition of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
Tim.
I'm Dave.
I'm Nikki.
We've got Nikki back for the first time in quite some time as a random little drop-in. How awesome is this? How you going, Nikki?
I'm awesome, thanks, AB. I just thought, why not? Why would I not want to join this festive occasion with beautiful people who I love?
Good to see you. We'll get into the usual doing the rounds of that in a minute. Tonight we've got a bit to get through, as always. Make sure you say hi in the comments too. We're going to review the latest from Machine Head and the chats. We're going to go back over a classic from Circus Maximus. We're going to have people dropping in and out as things go along tonight. We're going to discuss the current state of affairs when it comes to radio. We're also going to play a little bit of overrated, underrated, and a whole lot more. We'll go through the usual stuff, some random news and some other stuff, bits and pieces, the release list for tomorrow, all that kind of stuff. So all the usual stuff is here. Make sure you check out all the links, everything you need to know about. There's going to be links for it in the description box, so make sure you do that as well. I'll share some links in the comments too as we go along. And while you're checking out the links, make sure you give us a like, a follow, a share. All that sort of stuff helps us out greatly online. And do the same for our fantastic sponsors. So a big thank you, as always, to the fantastic and awesome Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt, Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure you give them, just like I said, a little bit of a like. A thumbs up goes a long way. It means more than you actually believe it does. So there we go. If you want to help us out, then our Patreon details are in there as well. And that's how the classic albums, like the one from Circus Maximus tonight, are going to be discussed, or get voted on, I should say. And that's how it all gets worked out. But anyway, let's get stuck into things. Let's do the rounds as always. I'll get to the comments in a minute. We've already got quite a few, which is nice. But Tim, how you going?
Yeah, pretty good, just chilling, killing. More gigs coming up, so keeping busy. And yeah.
Cool. And how about you, Dave? Anything lately?
I've been getting busy at work again, which is good. It's already starting. Winter's gone. Fuck you, winter. All that shit's done. And last Saturday night, got drunk with a mate. We had a barbecue. Had my kids over there, and he's got kids the same age, so they had fun until the early hours in the morning. We all got drunk and listened to metal, so it was good.
Nice.
Apart from that, I'm glad to see the end of winter, and got Skid Row coming up soon with Reckless Love, so stoked about that.
It was funny because you and I last night filmed a quick thing. It'll make sense in a minute, but we filmed something shortly, and we realized just how close Halloween is as well. So if you and I, it's like party time.
Got the Halloween decorations all here in the corner. They're all going to go out soon.
Cool. And Nikki, we did touch on it quickly, but how are you going? It's been a little while. So what have you been up to, just quickly?
Awesome, thanks, AB. And it's funny you talk about Halloween because I saw your house decked out last year for Halloween. Oh my God, that is Instagram worthy. I'm Ace, and I've just returned from Cairns. I'm in love with Cairns. I'm looking at buying a property there. It is an amazing place. Rah-rah. I'm Ace, and I'm happy to be with you all.
Cool. Beautiful. Not heaps to report from mine. Oh, actually, probably isn't more than usual, actually. Got a dog that's getting operation next week. Well, not next week.
Wait up. What? Caesar or Nala?
Yeah, Nala. She's an old girl and just needs to get a lump taken off of her leg. So she's okay, and all of her blood work came back really good. So we're just sort of gearing up for that. Keeping an eye on her, making sure everything's all good, and she's doing okay so far. But I mentioned it last time, but I was out at my a sibling's place Monday night for a family dinner for my dad's birthday, which was kind of cool as well. Haven't seen them for a little while, so it was funny watching how the generations of things change, because there's a particular song that me and my siblings, at a very similar age to my nephews now, was singing this song. I don't know if anyone knows, but it's like to do with the bumblebee, and you squash it, then you lick it, then you bring it up, and then you clean it off. And yeah, it's an old.
Sounds like way too much fun.
Yeah. But it was funny because my nephews were singing that one after another generation going through the same thing. So some things really don't change. So it was a bit of fun that night. But around that, just the usual, just doing the day job and then doing this stuff at night. But everything's good. Nothing to complain about. Everyone's well and happy and healthy and all that sort of stuff. So everything's good. Life is pretty good. Get some stuff shortly, but Conrad's here saying hello. Then good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping up there.
Hey, Conrad, how you doing, Rockstar?
We're going to make sure we get Conrad in to talk about the new Megadeth album when that drops as well. That'll be coming up soon. We're going to have to make that happen. TJ is going Maiden. Maiden's always good. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well.
TJ, you stole my heart and my womb. Just yes.
That's a lot. Well done. Rowan's here saying hello, giving us the horns as always. Scott's here too, saying hey all, good to see you. Same with Terry. Going hi, good to see you as well. Darren is saying, hey, full board all night. Yes, full board tonight, and we're going to have more coming in shortly as well. Sally's saying hello, everyone. Well, a dog running outside. And Chris over on YouTube saying hi as well. So good to see you. Make sure you give us your thoughts as we go along. Say hi, all the usual stuff. I'm going to quickly do a gig plug before we get stuck into the bits of random news for today. So just quickly for the gig plug side of thing, we're going to plug this one here. So it's tomorrow night, so Friday, September 2nd at Stay Gold. There's a link in the comments and the description box. It is Eat the Damn Orange, Tim, which we know all about that. So we're going to give you a band a plug again with the Silent K and Outlaw. So that's tomorrow night at Stay Gold. Do you know the door cost or anything, Tim? I've got no idea on tickets or anything like that.
I have no idea. We said yes to this gig last week, so.
So yeah, there we go. There's Nikki getting the vinyl out. So this is it's actually kind of funny. So the brief blurb we have for this one is "Don't blink or you'll miss it," announcing a surprise show with Eat the Damn Orange and Outlaw, featuring new songs from the upcoming double album release. This isn't one to miss. I'm assuming that's to do with Outlaw.
Yeah.
I first came across this courtesy of our good friend Brendan, who decided to put on his Facebook page. Brendan, I know. But he said this gig is bigger than Ben-Hur and more lit than Ben Cousins. So that's that's one way to promote.
I was thinking about it the other week, or the other day, and I used to spend a lot of time in Brunswick just because that's where all the shows were.
Yeah.
And between Stay Gold and I used to play a lot of shows at the Brunny.
Yep.
East Brunswick, fucking my God, there's so many.
East Brunswick Club, the East, Whole Lot of Love, and I don't think I've been to like where that Stay Gold is. I don't think I've been to that side of Brunswick since pre-pandemic.
Yeah, feel it a while.
So from a place that I used to know like the back of my hand, because we used to rehearse up the road as well. Like, Saints used to rehearse up the road, and I've got a few other bands rehearse like Wick and Three Phase and all that. And, you know, done mastering at near Three Phase, and so feels like I'm returning home.
Nice, first time in a while.
Yeah.
I'm just vaguely keeping an eye out on the score in the background because I know that Brendan will be watching the Tigers tonight, but also the Jody's as well. So I'm sort of like,
go Lions! Oh,
don't say that, Jody will murder you. You're not in Queensland yet, Nikki. So
but we'll be soon.
But anyway, yeah. So that's that. Anyway, that's the gig plug. So tomorrow night, Stay Gold. You got Eat the Damn Orange, Silent K, and Outlaw. That'll be a lot of fun for everyone there. So make sure you're doing that one. Okay, cool. All good, Jeff. Whenever you get to see that or hear that, I'm not sure. I'm following my phone. I've got things going on everywhere. My phone's going off because people are talking about the Megadeth album. I've got Jeff in the waiting room. I've got all that stuff going on. It's crazy. But quickly here, Conrad says the Megadeth album drops tomorrow, so next week if you like. On that, we're going to be taking a break next week. So the week after will be the ideal time to do that. We are doing it next week, not next week, the week after. We're having a break next week, but we'll get to that as soon as we can. Okay, Jeff's all good now.
Yeah, next week, life gets in the way.
Yes, life gets in the way. There are some times we need to take a break, and next week is one of those times. So forgive us. I know it's a massive week of releases. We're going to get to that in just a second. But yeah, it's one of those things we'll play catch up in due course. Man found me here saying, "Goddamn footy or hard rock show." Well, yeah, g'day, good to see you. I'm not sure which team you go for in the footy. Let us know. Good luck either way. It doesn't impact me personally, so it's all right. Unless Richmond go down, then I like to just sort of console the wife. Well, Conrad saying fair enough. Scott, the Bendigo Hotel tomorrow night. I'm not sure what the gig is at the Bendigo Hotel tomorrow night. Let us know what that is.
Autism are part of that, Andrew.
Sorry?
Scott, if you could please confirm, that would be amazing.
What's that?
I think Rautism, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, Scott, confirm what the gig is tomorrow night.
If I'm wrong, please set me straight. Set me straight. Cunt Squad, maybe.
Coffin Carousel.
Oh, Coffin Carousel. There we go. Yeah, he's just said it there. So Coffin Carousel. That's the gig. Awesome. Yeah, well, get on down because the new album's a cracker. Go and check it out. So that'll be well worth your time. Sean's going, hey, all, hope you're well. We are all well. Hope you are too, brother. Hope you're keeping well over there.
Is that Sean Bennett? I can't see Andrew. Is that Sean Bennett?
Yes, it is, Nikki.
Massive love to you, to WA. Sean Bennett. Yeah. Just love.
Going all over the joint tonight. Joshua is asking, where can I watch the prog or special that's on in Adelaide tonight? So for that, if you want to watch whatever we do on TV, which is on Channel 39 in Melbourne on Saturday nights and Channel 44 in Adelaide on Thursday nights, where if you want to watch the stuff we do on TV, you don't have to tune in on your TV screen. Just have to pay attention to local time. So it's 10:30 p.m. on Saturday nights in Melbourne, 10:30 p.m. local time, Thursday nights in Adelaide. I'll get to that comment in a second. Here we go. So if you want to watch it, you can tune in via ctvplus.org.au, or there is the new CTV Plus app. Just go to your app store wherever you get things from and download on your phone and just stream at the same time. That's the only way you can watch those the way we put it together because of all the silly issues with the online stuff. So we can't just sort of host anywhere. It just has one of those things you watch as it goes live. But if you want to watch, 10:30 p.m. tonight. So that's about 11 p.m. our time in Melbourne. I think I'm right there. I get confused.
That is correct.
Yep. Tim, you'd know better than I would. But yeah, so 11 p.m. tonight on the CTV Plus app or ctvplus.org.au. That is how you can watch it. That is what's there for you. I think it's also there was a repeat. Probably I don't know when the repeat is on Channel 31 anymore. It's all strange. But yeah,
I'm going to be cheeky. Can I be cheeky for a moment?
Of course.
Again.
If anyone is watching this video live tonight, check out Josh Button's music. He's actually an amazing musician. And I truly do genuinely. Josh, I have your CD. I've listened to it. Check him out. Josh Button. He's actually an incredible artist. So please check him out.
New album coming soon as well.
And it wasn't sponsored. It wasn't solicited. It's from the heart. He's a really great musician.
No, very talented young man, that one. And new album coming soon, and there are some new singles out there too. So there's a lot to go and check out, so go and check it out. Scott said the drummer is a pretty good bloke when it comes to Coffin Carousel as well. So there we go.
He's all right, is he, Scott? You recommend him, mate?
Yeah, what do we got here? So Brendan's joined us. He's going, I feel like I should be chatting about the chats. Well, you can jump in, mate. You got access to the
Hey, trust me, I will be talking about the chats.
We know. We'll get into that one soon. But hey, if you want to, Brendan, you can you can jump in. So there we go. Just more here. So Scott Robertson's confirming for us Imoria Mascarion single launch and special guest. So there we go. There's a lot going on at the Bendigo Hotel. So get on down to that one as well if you want to.
Thank you, Scott.
Here we go. What do we got? So Sean's going, heading over in November to see Dead City Ruins. So hoping to catch up with some of you for beers. That'd be a great idea, mate. Hopefully we'll get to do that.
Dead City Ruins? Fuck yes! Fuck yes! Just fuck yes.
Yep. Conrad has shared the link in the Facebook comments too. So if you're on there, go and check it out. TJ has gone, lion guy with one tiger son, a tiger wife, and another lion son. Fucking tense here. Pantera is my current mental soundtrack. Don't blame you. That would be a fucking intense household right now. It's a close game too. So good luck. I wish you well. I don't know what else to say in that context. All right. Speaking of other things, so we're going to go into the releases that are coming out tomorrow. So this is a big week. There are a lot of Dave and I went through it last night. There's a lot of big weeks coming up. There's a lot going on for the rest of the year. So tomorrow we have 156 and the Silence with Narrative. They've got that. I think it's a split coming out. I'm not entirely certain, but I might be right or wrong. I'm not sure. But either way, you can look it up. But Blind Guardian are dropping their new album, The God Machine. Defacing God have their new one with the Resurrection of Lilith. Epica have a bunch of re-releases. So there's Consigned to Oblivion, Live at Paradiso, The Phantom Agony, and The Score. They're doing a bunch of re-releases there. Fear Disease releasing their new one in Floodgates. Then we have the Mongolian band that we love, The Who, releasing their brand new album, Rumble of Thunder. King's X have a brand new album called Three Sides of One. Mantic Ritual are releasing a self-titled EP. Megadeth, the mighty Megadeth, are dropping The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead tomorrow, people. Then we also have Miss May I releasing Curse of Existence. Ocean 8 Alaska with Disparity. Trial are releasing Feed the Fire. And Youngblood is releasing a self-titled album there too. So, Tim, let's go to you first. What grabs your attention off that little list?
Megadeth and The Who, obviously. Yeah. We've all heard the Megadeth singles, and they're all fucking brilliant. So, If the album's not that, you'll be mightily disappointed.
Yeah.
It's like, watching when you see a movie preview and it's really good, you go watch the movie and it's like all the good bits from the preview.
Yeah, I know. It's like the one you.
And I hope it's not that. But also The Who. I mean, I saw The Who a few weeks ago at Billboard, and they were fucking incredible. And like there's no. This band is just something else.
Yeah. What about you, Dave? There's a few there for you.
Oh yeah, definitely Megadeth. I was excited for it already, but a couple of days ago I listened to Dave Mustaine on Chris Jericho's podcast, talking about the album, and it sounds like it's going to be a fucking banger. So
nice.
Keen for that. Blind Guardian, obviously big Blind Guardian fan. I've seen them live. They're an awesome band, and what I've heard from this album come up, it's going to be fantastic. The Who, obviously, the last album was just amazing. And King's X, bit of a three-piece band that doesn't get enough attention, so I'm keen to hear this album. And of course, Epica re-release is going to check out if there's any bonus stuff on that, and there's a live Blu-ray CD, so that'd be cool to hear too. But Epic is always good.
Cool. Nikki was a bit unprepared for this one. I don't know did anything grab your attention, Nikki, on that little list there?
Oh, look, Megadeth without question. That's like a non-negotiable. Got to check that out.
Yeah.
Epica and the Who, 50-50, both intriguing and definitely curious to see both. So the Who are not like anything else. They really are.
Yeah.
So I will go with the Who and Megadeth on this occasion.
Nice. Well, I'm not going to add anything new to the conversation just quickly, so I'm going to rattle off, Blind Guardian, The Who, King's X, and Megadeth are all the standouts for me out of tomorrow's little list. There's a lot coming up, though. If you think this year was big already, there's huge ones. I think, Tim, you pointed out earlier, Orianthi has a new album coming out next month, I believe. Which
the same day as the Lamb of God album, I think.
What was that, sorry?
Same day as the Lamb of God album, I think.
Yeah, that sounds all right, actually. Yeah, there is the Lamb of God one coming as well. There's a lot. Like, Dave and I went through it a lot last night, and Nikki's dropped out again. So that's...
Nikki's pushed the button.
Yeah, Nikki, when you get back here, just, push the button to get back in. But so there's a lot coming up this year. We will get through those weeks as we come along. But, there's a lot coming up. Sally's gone The Who with Yay, so that's cool right there. So we've got a fan of that one. Like, they are a band unlike any other. And Tim, I'd love to know what you thought of them live, because you didn't do a review or anything. So I don't know if you want to do it. But
they're incredible. They're better than. Actually, the album's pretty great, but
the album's good.
The impact of like 8 dudes singing on stage is pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, a lot of these songs, like, it's amazing how much the traction they get out of just like one note.
Yeah. Yep.
It's really incredible how it just kind of drones on, and you get this almost like trance going on, and it's just really incredible to see live. It's totally different to the record, but something else.
Nice. Cool. No, I'm spewing I missed that one, but that the new album I'm definitely going to be checking out, even though I'm taking a bit of a break. Rowan's gone, love to hear the Who do a cover of the Who's Who Are You, just for a bit of work there. So
actually.
That would be pretty funny. All right, let's get into some what do we got? Some random news to get through quickly. Just some quick little bits and pieces here. First up, I guess we'll throw back to you, because Dave, you did a video on this on your lunch break earlier this week.
Nice.
To do with one of your favorite bands in Murder Dolls. And are there any updates in that one? And just generally fill people in on what's going on over there.
I haven't noticed anything further coming out of either camp. But for people who don't know, Wednesday 13 on his social media accounts made a post saying that anything happening with the Murder Dolls at the moment he is not involved in at all. And then as the story unfolds, what's happened is one of the touring members of Beyond the Valley of the Murder Dolls album has registered the copyright and now has control of the Murder Dolls name. And he's in charge of releasing the 20th anniversary of the album, and the studio is happy to have him on. The problem being that Murder Dolls is the brainchild of Joey Jordison as a side project, so he created the band. The songs were mostly written by Wednesday 13, and they were both performed on CD by Joey Jordison and Wednesday 13. The only contribution this guy has to the album is he has a photograph in the cover, and he toured that album. So he didn't write anything, didn't play anything, didn't come up with the band's name, and now he legally owns the copyright and the band name. So he's put together a website, and he doesn't mention Wednesday 13 at all on his website. So naturally, Wednesday is a bit pissed off.
Yeah.
So they're not going to tour or anything, but they're releasing this album, and it's not authorized by the Joey Jordison estate or by Wednesday 13, which is quite shit. So, and I did a bit of research on this, and the thing that's a real kick in the teeth is after their drummer Ben Graves died a few years ago, this AC guy actually joined Wednesday 13 on stage to do a few Murder Dolls songs. So the bridge was open, and as Wednesday said, he still performs Murder Dolls songs, but he's not doing it under their name. He's doing it under Wednesday 13, as it should be. Yeah. So it's just a massively disrespectful event to have occurred.
Very strange. Tim, you got any thoughts before we go to Nikki as well? You got any thoughts on the whole mess?
It's like Charlie Clouser owning 9 Inch Nails. Like, it's just a dude on stage. Yeah. You know, the other guy does everything else. Not entirely surprising, though. Like, I mean, whilst we've all got our morals,
some don't.
Yeah, some don't. People are going to smell an opportunity. And I think, look, at the end of the day, I think there's money in the Murder Dolls name, and I think it's a massive blind spot missed by Wednesday to let that copyright run out. And once you let the copyright run out, then you leave yourself open to things like this.
Yeah. Which is,
I think it's pretty shitty that the studio didn't reach out to the estate of Joey Jordison or to Wednesday 13. So if
it is shitty, but at the same time, like, they're in it for a buck.
Yeah.
And they're probably in a better negotiating position, negotiating with a random touring member as opposed to Wednesday 13 or Jordison's family.
Yeah.
So they're probably making more money off it.
It could be a bit of a sore spot for Wednesday too, because he had a falling out with Joey for a long time, and they did reconnect a couple of years before Joey passed. But I think they just fixed the friendship. They were thinking maybe one day they might, but Joey had his health problems.
Yeah.
So I don't think Wednesday wants to, you can't tour without Joey. So doing anything under that name, I think he's just like, let's just move on.
Yeah. Don't know. What about you, Nikki? It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it is a bit of a mess, and I'm not across it like Dave and Tim clearly are, and yourself, Andrew. But I found it really intriguing, the whole blame game that played online. And it's like no one wanted to take on responsibility. No one wanted to take on the name, the label, the promotion, the responsibility. I found that kind of intriguing because I do think they had a legacy, but no one could afford or want to take on that legacy. That I found a little bit strange. But I would just say I defer to Dave, Tim, and you on their intricacies. I'm not across the knowledge of it. But I did find it weird that no one was prepared to take on the licensing. The cost and the burden was too much. And I find that intriguing because there was a legacy there. Dave, would you have something to add to that?
Well, even the follow-up album, everything on the follow-up album was Joey and Wednesday. They're basically the Murder Dolls. And when the brainchild behind it, Joey, he's passed. I think his estate are doing whatever they want to do. It's probably still very sore for them at the moment. And Wednesday has his solo career. He does the occasional Murder Dolls song, but I think he just without Joey, I don't think he wants anything to do with the Murder Dolls.
There was such a clear-cut delineation between Wednesday 13 and the Murder Dolls. There was such a separation. It was such a not involved, separate enterprise. Did you find that?
I did. Just seemed very strange that it got pulled out from under him. I think he was just more pissed off for it being stolen from Joey more than anything else.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression I get. It's more about just profiting off a legacy when the legacy isn't yours to begin with, and I think that's the part that
Wednesday's been really modest in a lot of ways because 98% of the songs and the music written on the Murder Dolls was his. It came from his earlier band, Frankenstein Drag Queens from Planet 13.
Yeah.
And he's given all the credit to Joey. Because basically, Joey, you wouldn't know of Wednesday 13 if it wasn't for Joey Jordison.
Well, it wouldn't be a project with Murder Dolls without Joey Jordison. So it's one of those things where, like Tim said, though, you get unscrupulous individuals that will do anything to make a buck. And I don't even know who the guy is. So it tells you everything you kind of need to know when someone might be a bit, again, you don't know their circumstances. They might be desperate to make that money. But it's a shame. Yeah. Sorry.
There's going to be some carny bloke out there who's going to try to make, because like I said, there is money involved in it. There's money to be made.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that unfortunately slipped through the cracks when it came to the trademarking or licensing, because I think everyone involved would have, expected the estate of Jordison to just be over it. But it hasn't happened, and I can't blame anyone either for that, because it probably wouldn't be front and center in their mind. But it's one of those things that, it just shows you that you got to be on top of all the details, unfortunately. It's one of those things where if you're not paying attention, things will get taken out from underneath you. So
it's too hard basket. It's like, too hard.
It's a tale of caution. I think it's one of those ones where, keep an eye on things, because you never know what will happen next. What do we got here? Vinny's got a couple of comments here. He's gone, sounds like an inverted out-of-body experience they're experiencing. But also, wouldn't it fall into the bracket of intellectual property from a legal standpoint if another party commercialized another creations? Depends on who.
Yes.
Not necessarily. Usually, because it was but it was signed over to a label, which usually they retain the rights, and then when it lapses,
when you sign a recording contract, you don't own your songs. The record label does.
You lose everything. So you sign all mechanical, all creative rights, all of it goes when you sign normally to a label, especially back then 20 years ago. Yeah,
this is why the musicians were better off under the old system rule is not exactly true.
Yeah, very true. Conrad's here saying greed makes people do terrible things, and that's true as well. I don't think it's very true. Ryan says, yo, what's up, my dudes? It's the drummer from Avalanche. Loving the show. Keep it up. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Thank you for jumping.
Dude.
Awesome. And keep doing the good things with your band too.
Hey, how you doing, man? How's that old Tama kit? That was fucking awesome.
I'm going to do it. I've already done it quickly, but just remember to check out ctvplus.org.au, and there's also a brand new app for Channel 31 or Channel 44, so it's CTV Plus. It's the plus is with a little actual plus sign. So make sure you get on that, download it. That way you can watch us on Channel 44 and Channel 31, 10:30 p.m. Thursday nights on 44, 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on 31. Just a quick little plug there, because Channel 31 in particular, but just community TV in general, plugging and pushing this stuff now. So I'm just giving that a quick little plug again to just sort of make sure you download the app and or tune into the website to watch the show. Finally, another bit of news randomly before we get stuck into the real conversations tonight is that of Crazy Licks. Now, Dave, again, you're more over. Maybe Nikki's over than I am as well, but it's just been sort of popping up last minute this morning. I'm going to lean into Dave here for a second to fill everyone in on just what the fuck is going on.
Come on, Dave. Give us what you've got, because I know what I've seen.
Oh, okay.
Less than a week away, Crazy Licks have pulled out of the main support slot of the Heat concert. There's been no official, unlike Crash Diet, who had to cancel due to illness, there's been no official reason for why Crazy Licks have decided not to come. And some people are calling them lazy dicks, which is going to be their new nickname from now on, I think. But this is the second time they've pulled out of coming to Australia. And they did a post with a whole bunch of what not is happening. They haven't explained what is, which is really disappointing. There's a valid reason, and it wouldn't kill them to be transparent and let us know, because it's disappointing. I'm not going to speculate. There's rumors going around, but who the hell knows? It's just sucks.
All right, Nikki, what have you seen? What do you want to speculate on?
I've seen a whole lot of shit on Facebook. There is a lot of rumors and turmoil going around about this. I want to start by saying it's really disappointing that Crazy Licks aren't coming out. They're amazing. It would have been great to see them. They've played the whole PC card. Sorry, we can't come out. We support Cassidy Paris and any other band that's filling in, blah, blah, blah. Cassidy Paris is not filling in. She was always part of that support, by the way. Yeah. They haven't entered into any rumours, and if you dig deep, you'll find some rumours, kids. That's all I'm going to say on that. I have to be really fucking delicate here. I have people that know people that know people that know people, and it's disappointing. That's all I'm going to say towards that. Heat are going to be amazing. Eric is fucking a trooper, an icon, an inspiration, and fuck you all. You know what? Go and see Heat, and regardless of who supports them, we could smile for pretty much every state but Victoria. Cassidy Paris all around, and she's amazing. I think I heard that Atomic Riot are doing the support in Melbourne, which is pretty fucking cool.
Still cool.
Crazy Licks, dudes, I don't even fucking know what to think. I'm disappointed. I think it's a shame. I think you're great. I think you're amazing. But I don't believe your bullshit. All right, fuck it. Whatevs. I would like to see Crazy Licks as a fan. I think they're great. I think their reasons for not attending are nefarious, and I would like more clarification. They haven't actually said what is preventing them from doing this tour. They have not articulated a definitive reason. It's hyperbole and bullshit and ridiculous. And fuck you. Whatever. You know what? We're going to have a great gig. Eric, Heat, Skid Row, fuck me dead. Amazing.
Good weekend.
Skid Row's later on.
Cassidy's amazing. Wicked Smile are amazing. Fucking Atomic Riot are amazing. Whatever. You're lost, mate.
Yep.
I don't think a whole bunch of t-shirts printed up. All right.
There's a lot of waffle there. I don't think they gave a concrete, genuine reason as to why they couldn't participate. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. What were you saying then, Dave?
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of t-shirts printed up for Australian Tour 2022. They're going to go to Austria and think people are dyslexic?
Well, Kiss did.
That
one. Tim, you got anything to add to this conversation?
Crazy Licks.
Yeah.
Pulls out, disappoints many, decides not to come.
Yeah.
Dead.
I do think it's disappointing, but I'm happy to be corrected here, team. Have they actually given a valid reason as to why?
It would be disappointing after Crazy Licks to decide not
to
come.
There's no valid reason given that I've seen Nikki, and Tim just made the comment of the night with the running of the head.
Is it really Crazy Licks if it's disappointing?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Crazy Licks aren't going to come.
Brilliant. Yeah. Where are we going to go?
Crazy Licks at the start, disappointing finish.
Yeah. It's
they pulled out.
At least we still have Heat.
Oh my
God. Heat are going to be incredible. Fucking totally worth the price of admission just to see Heat. And anyone who doesn't know them, fucking go on the Google machine and research them. Heat are incredible, going to be amazing, going to be worth it. Crazy Licks, whatevs. Sorry you didn't make it. Disappointing, but Heat will be worth the admission price alone. Absolutely, 100%. I'll put my name to Heat. Get there, see them.
The jokes and double entendre are going over your head, Nikki.
What was that, Dave?
I think the jokes and double entendres have gone over your head.
I'm going to say maybe.
Don't have a lot to add. I think it's important to focus on Heat being here because Heat are phenomenal live, even though that's a different lineup now. But the new album's a cracker as well, and that band are good at what they do. Are very, very. If you're
I think I said Eric. Apparently, he's with Skid Row. My bad.
Yeah, he's with Skid Row now. But they the new album is fantastic. The band are great at what they do. I have no doubt they'll put on a smoking show. And the support bands we do know and love here at the show as well. So get on and still support it. Don't let a support band pulling out and disappointing you put you off of going to the gig, because you're gonna have a good night anyway, I reckon. Yeah, that's about where that kind of wraps up. It's fucking bizarre.
But like nothing that any of us has said. Rumor is that Wicked Smile got the gig across Australia. I think it's fucking awesome. Atomic Riot got the gig in Melbourne. Like, fucking yes. Well done, Ash, Alex, and crew. Fucking how good is that?
Yeah, no,
cool.
Good. Yeah, why not?
I mean, Yay team, go. That's
well. They're a good thing. And their album from this year is pretty fucking good too. So go and check that out as well.
Yes.
I saw them with Lunchtime earlier this year too. They're fucking great.
Yeah.
They've really kicked it up.
They do.
It took me from left field. I'm not even going to lie. I love everyone. Blah, blah, blah. I love everyone. I'm everyone's friends. But I was a little bit surprised and shocked that Atomic Riot got that gig. And I was also fucking, fuck yeah. Good luck to you guys. You earned it.
I'm pretty sure they've been tight with Silverback for a little while. So it's not a huge shock, but it's a good fit. It's a really good fit.
It was a shock to me, Andrew. I'm not even going to lie.
I
was shocked.
That's
but
good
I thought it was actually fucking amazing, and well done to them.
They will be a great fit on that gig. Tim Ryan replied to you saying, I've been all right, my man. Keen to come back to Melbourne next year. So there we go. That's Ryan replying to your little thing.
Awesome.
Rowan says, I'm going to start a rumor. They pulled out because they discovered their band name has a typo. Ryan says, Tommy Ryder, badass, such nice dudes. Very cool. Gears here from Norway. Sure. Good to see you. He's going, hello, Vikings. In October, the new TV company Rise Up coming to Norway, make the documentary film about us and the concept of band Viking Queen. New single will be coming out as well. The album at the end of October. So there's a lot going on with Viking Queen. Go and check out their stuff. There's some cool stuff online. We did do a couple of singles recently as well. And Vinny's gone, it's a shame they pulled out so early. Seemed like a little premature adjudication.
I know, right? Dude. What the fuck? Fucking dickheads. Look. All right, fuck it. I'm going to say it.
No,
Andrew. I'm going to say it. I've heard behind the scenes they might be a little high maintenance. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, I guess time will tell on that one.
Well, crazy leaks generally are high maintenance.
Thank you, Tim. It is what I've heard behind the scenes.
Well, they talk a big. I think the technical term is starfish.
Yeah, good band. They do rock. I actually like their tunes, but fuck you and your princesses. Fuck you.
I think yeah, that's it. It's crazy starfish.
Yes, and the hot dog flavored water. All right. All right. Let's bring our guest tonight. We have Jeff here with us tonight. How you going, buddy?
Hey guys. Hey.
Jeff.
Been sitting in the green room watching us go nuts here for the last minute.
Thank you for having me back. It was an absolute blast last time. So yes, thank you. Hi everybody.
Hey.
The reason we got Jeff in is because this topic, the hot topic tonight, is rather relevant, and it's to do with is radio as important or relevant as it used to be? And Jeff has a lot of experience going into the radio world here in a bit. We'll get to that shortly. But that's the topic tonight, and that's the question I put online this morning. Basically, is radio as relevant and important as it used to be? Now, it's important to bear in mind in the context of this conversation. It's to do with the music side of things. It's still always going to be important for things like emergency broadcasts and for things like bushfires in Australia and all that kind of stuff too. So radio will always have a purpose, but is it as important or relevant as it used to be when it comes to things like the music world or entertainment world, with things like podcasts and streaming and all that kind of stuff going on as well? Tim, you actually brought the article to the chat that started all this sort of thought process off. So where do you land on this?
Of course it's not as important as it used to be. Because there was a time when radio was the new form of media. Yeah. And, you get television is not as important as it used to be. As you've got a spread of information and a spread of entertainment sources, everything gets slightly less important as we all fragment out into our own little sections of entertainment. So from that, like, obviously it's not. Having said that, I think radio is best equipped to take advantage of the podcasting world.
Okay.
And you see, like, every radio station podcasts their shows nowadays and do extra content behind the scenes. And they have generally people who are experienced at talking for hours on end and being somewhat entertaining, which is the name of the game. So while, I mean, like, it's definitely not as important as it used to be, having said that, I wouldn't count out traditional radio, like the corporate side of things, because they're not going to go down without a fight. They're not going to go down, without making a fist of it. And while I think their influence won't be nearly as big as it was, just because, I mean, again, radio is a local thing as well, and online you're competing with everybody. I just thought it was an interesting balance because, the article was, about radio ratings and looking at how many teenagers are listening to supposedly oldies radio stations and how Triple J draws mainly oldies. So, we'll see.
It's an interesting one. What about you, Dave? Where do you land on this?
Yeah, I don't think radio is relevant at all. People who grew up listening to it are probably still listening to it. They'll grow old with the hosts of these shows that they're watching, especially commercial radio. But I don't see many people, younger people, latching onto it. Younger kids have much more choices for entertainment. And we have instant gratification. Whatever you want to listen to, whatever you want to know, you can jump on various other platforms, your streaming services, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. So I don't see it being very relevant to younger people. Even like community radio, like PBS and Triple J and Triple R and all that. I think they're the people that listen to that are aging as well. And I don't think a younger audience is really latching onto that. I don't know. I don't know every younger person. I don't speak to that many younger people. But it just seems that there are so many other options. And as far as news goes, I don't get news from the radio. I get it from Facebook. I get it from social media. I get it from my phone. So, like you said in the intro to this segment, in more rural areas, you're going to have it for emergency services. But as soon as technology eventually catches up, I think radio is just going to be obsolete. There's going to be other ways to broadcast what we need to know, and it's going to be all through our phones. So actually having a separate unit that broadcasts radio, I think a decade, maybe two, much like physical money, it's all going to be gone. The world's going to be a much different place in a couple of decades. So I don't know if radio has any part in that. They might be doing podcasts from their shows these days, but I think there's so many other podcasts and so much other content that no one's going to jump in. And I can't see anyone who regularly listens to Triple M and hears the same fucking songs over and over again is going to be keen to jump onto that podcast that they missed just so they can hear the songs they heard the day before and the day before that. But
I really need to listen to. Actually, I was going to say some Triple M hosts, but I actually don't know any of their hosts these days. So there goes that joke. Sorry.
But even, maybe community radio where people will produce and host a little group, their own little show where they got some say over what they actually play. They don't have to fill a content quota or whatever, what's being told to broadcast. But if you have control over your own show, then maybe the smaller radio stations will be more popular in the future. I can't see, in its current state, I can't see stations like Triple M or Gold lasting more than 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they're not going to grab a new audience. They're not working.
Even if all the radio shows go to podcasts,
everyone.
No, but even if they all go towards podcasts, from the context of what we're talking about, which is music, that means getting rid of the music anyway.
They'd have to.
Well, yeah.
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 So you just have
for the purposes of what we're talking about, as using radio as a means of listening to music, done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the right.
But I think eventually radio is going to be over, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think kids have other forms of getting information. It's going to be completely obsolete to all of us old people. I mean, I'm over 40. I'm obsolete. My opinion doesn't mean shit. So who knows?
Don't know. It's interesting. Let's Nikki, you've got younger children. Well, not young, but children. But where do you sort of land on this one? Then we'll go to the man with the experience in Jeff. But what do you thought? What are your thoughts?
I'm
Nikki?
really glad you threw to that, Andrew, because if I looked at my personal opinion, I've got splinters in my ass from being on the fence. Like my generation and me and who I am and my comrades, I feel like we do listen to Triple M and the established, and I don't want to get into a war about fucking should they put local music, blah, blah, blah. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I can tell you that my non-music scene friends all listen to Triple M. Fact, like it, love it, I don't care. Yep. It is what it is. But if I talked about my children, Andrew, absolutely not a chance. They'd be horrified and at the thought of Triple M.
Mm-hmm.
My children discover music through TikTok, through YouTube, through their own devices.
Yep.
So I guess what I want to say to that is I'm on the fence. I think their mainstream radio stations are relevant with the people 45 plus. And I think people 45 under find their own sources and their own resources for discovering new artists and new music. That's just what I think.
I'd even argue that that's shifting a bit too, because Jodie, for example, doesn't listen to commercial radio. She'll get the phone, hook it up, or she'll you know, sometimes digital stations will get her attention, but yeah, she's not hugely onto the radio thing these days. So I think it's shifting as well. The people that people get used to choice is what I'll say about that. But yeah,
if I had to swing a pendulum, and if you absolutely put me in the hot seat and said, what do I choose? I would say that mainstream radio does not cut it anymore. Yeah. I think social media cuts it more, and that hurts me, but it's reality.
Yep, I'd agree. But Jeff, give us a bit of your background, why we brought you into this topic to begin with, and then give us your thoughts on that.
Sure. Well, first of all, I was in community radio from 2005 to 2010. 3SER, so not to plug them, but 97.7 FM, the sound of the Southeast. Anyway, yeah, so sorry, guys, but hey, I'm sure they appreciate that. But look, everyone has pretty much said what needs to be said, but radio has taken a backseat to all the new, the new mediums that we use to access information and to consume. Of course, everything comes down to your phone, and everyone has a phone these days. And we're not listening to radio on them. We're listening to Spotify and, whatever, YouTube, that sort of thing. And of course, and TikTok and, all the 30-second, 20-second videos that we're seeing, the shorts. That's where things are going. But I think everyone's sort of missing out on one major thing. And I think that you guys are forgetting that every car on the planet has a radio, and there's a reason for that. And people drive around, and yes, you may have your own music that you stream from your phone. That's fine. But there's a lot of people that don't do that. And here in Australia, we don't have a lovely thing here called satellite radio, which they have overseas and other places like Sirius XM in the United States, where it comes built into the car. Your car has internet. You're driving around. I was back there in 2013, and I rented a car, which cost me $5,000. I rented a car. I had it for like 60 days, 2 months, and that was $5,000. That wasn't including insurance and my fuel.
Wow.
But anyway, it came right out of the box. It was a brand new car in 2013, and it had Sirius XM built into it. And I had never heard anything like that. I was just like, unbelievable. They had so many internet channels that you could just tune in, and it was just topic based. So if you like a certain band, you'd find it on Sirius XM. Bang.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, that stuff is not available here. I think there's a market for it. I don't know if Sirius XM would stretch down to here and do it. But I'm sure somebody else, if they wanted to, they could do that. They could have it built into cars, brand new cars. And we could all be listening to internet satellite radio, which is amazing. Getting back onto my own personal experience, as far as the internet goes, I used to stream, obviously, my own link and stuff like that. They would be the radio station and I would share it to all my friends and Facebook. So, yes, it was, it was a pretty localized community radio station, but it was broadcasting to the world. So that was cool. And my parents obviously got to listen to me talk and yap and they're in Canada and I'm here. So that was cool for them. But is it relevant today? As Nikki said, 45 over, yes. 45 under, not so much. Is that going to change? Probably not. I think it's just probably going to get less and less and less. But we're looking at it also from, kids are, digesting and consuming with all the new apps and things like that. But there's still a lot of people out there that don't do that. There's still a lot of bands. I can tell you from my own experience when I was at the radio station. Of course, it's a little bit going back to 2010. So, but I do know people that are still there that I worked with at the time. Every band on the planet would send CDs. I would take CD boxes home with bands. And I had all these CDs that I would go and listen to this. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is crap. This is great. And regardless, I know they still do that. And, because it's there. So if you're going to make a physical version of your band, if you got to burn a CD of some sort, then you're going to share it to the physical places where radio can play it. If it's just going to be digital, yes, it's just going to be end up online, and radio's not going to touch it. Yeah. But yeah, I would be interested to see how many younger people listen to Triple M or Triple J.
None, Jay. That's the problem. If I would be deathly ruthless, who listens to Triple J and Triple M under 45? Fucking none.
Yeah, that was
I don't mean to be an asshole, but I'm just being completely truthful and honest.
I think you're right. I think it's changed. And where's it going to be in 20 years' time? It's, it's going to be broadcast into our heads. We won't need a radio. We won't need to just be there. Yeah, that's right. Well, he's already working on it. So, yeah.
There you go. Were you trying to say something before, Tim, just quickly, or?
No, that was the article I was sending, is that younger people aren't listening to Triple M and Triple J and all that. And the ones that are listening to radio are listening to gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim.
And to be honest, I mean, the thing that I always have with radio is what happens if you take, like a workplace that's got it on in the background out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think then how many people are listening to the radio then, or how many people it's just younger people listening to gold more because that's what their parents listen to when they're driving them to school?
Not even, Tim. Like, I have kids. You know this, Tim. My kids are 25 and 24. Not a fucking chance would they listen to Gold 104 or Triple M or Nova. No. My kids don't listen to any of that. No. Their pure music is derived from Spotify, TikTok, and their own resources. And
I'm 31.
Yeah.
I'm 31. So, I haven't listened to the radio since high school.
Yeah.
Well, I guarantee that my kids don't listen to radio. I guarantee it. Unless it's like a workplace where there's no choice. I guarantee they don't. They spend more time.
New music is doing the show. It's things like Spotify recommendations, those playlists. It's the recommended thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is big. That's what Paris tells me.
It's the fucking FIFA soundtrack. It's the NBA 2K soundtrack.
Yeah, game soundtracks are big too.
Yeah.
But here's a little trick that I don't know if people. I haven't fact checked this, but I'm pretty sure it's correct in that you've got Google is the world's #1 search engine. the number 2 search engine is actually YouTube. So
Yeah.
that's
Google owns that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Google owns it. And so it's a really interesting sort of where people are going to search their stuff. It's Google first and then YouTube second.
Yeah.
So I just think that, it's an little thing
and
to
I
take
find it a real fucking parallel universe. It's like I'm so passionate about my music. I have my hardcore, I have my records. I'm a real tactile person. I'm a real old school chick. I love my fucking records. I love CDs.
Absolutely.
I love music.
Sure.
And Jesse and Paris just have no fucking concept of that. They truly don't.
in a
And
different
it's not a
time.
diss to them. And you all know Paris is in the industry. Yeah. It's just that they're all about YouTube and TikTok and Spotify and recommendations. And it's like when I say put on fucking 105.1 Triple M, they're like, what the fuck, you dinosaur? It's not even a thing for them. It's not even on their radar. Not even a thing.
Well, what about people though who at work? I mean, look at all the people that are actually at work, and they don't. It's radio. If anybody works anywhere in Australia, in an office or in a factory, guess what's playing? A radio.
Yeah.
It's not, Jeff.
Almost.
Well, there is. I know that you have to buy a license.
Will fucking put on her headphones and put on a playlist before she goes to radio. And I don't want to disrespect you, because I immensely respect you, Jeff.
No, but like, for example,
with my playlist.
Yeah.
But not everywhere is putting on gold or whatever. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Cole's radio is famously awesome.
Do you know why? Do you know why Cole's does that? Because they don't have to pay for it. So
exactly.
So there's a license.
But the other thing is too, like, so my sister runs a hairdressing salon, and she's not playing the radio.
No.
She's got her own Spotify playlist with 3,000 songs on it.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, Paris would not listen to a radio or mainstream.
Find
her little fucking wormhole and get in her little fucking head on the fucking wormhole. She's down YouTube or Spotify or whatever.
It's not a wormhole. Like the music that's playing in the shop is her Spotify playlist. Now, obviously, she's not playing. She's got a list dedicated for the shop, so she's not playing things that shouldn't be heard.
Yeah.
But it's still her own shit.
We haven't even talked about algorithms here, Tim.
No, well,
yeah, exactly.
You can get into that. I think that radio is in a really interesting place, especially in Australia. It's at a really big crossroads. I think that in terms of where people are consuming their media, be it music or podcasts or visual things, like I think radio and television are going to be great for things like live events. But even that could be under threat later on because, once Spotify introduces a live service, well, then who knows where that'll go.
Spotify's introducing video now.
Well, you can do podcast on video. So they're competing in that regard. YouTube are doing, obviously, big things for now. But everything has its life cycle as well, so you don't know what's going to happen next. But I think that radio, it'll never completely die, but I think that the funny thing is we've mentioned, a lot of the oldies are going to stay there, but the oldies are getting older, quote unquote, but they're also getting more tech savvy as things go by. And like I was saying before, the people that get exposed to choice and get to choose what they want, it's human nature. You'll gravitate to what pleases you as opposed to being, forced into a corral somewhere that doesn't make a lot of sense for you personally.
My dad's like 61, 62 or so. Wow. He's not listening to the radio.
No. It's
not a chance. He's all over YouTube.
His comfort zone, right?
Pardon?
He's not exactly what you said. He's not going to Spotify or fucking the internet. He's going back to what he knows.
No, he is.
He's all over YouTube.
Him, is that via CD or records? What's his method there? Or is it Spotify with what he knows?
It's Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, he's not listening to CDs. And why would he listen to that one Bob Marley CD when there's 500 million Bob Marley concerts?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. And that's... Once people get used to that choice, I think it's hard to go back.
If I thought about my mum, she's not going to fucking be looking at the newest and latest and greatest. She doesn't give a fuck. She's going to look at Anne Murray and her fucking Bing Crosby and whatever the fuck she's familiar with.
That's what it is.
And my mum's on the internet. She's on the interweb. She's on the computer. But I guarantee, and I love you, Mum, there's no disrespect, she's going to go with the fucking shit she knows. She's not looking for anything new or different or weird.
Yeah, but that market's always existed. That's why gold exists.
Nothing new.
Yeah.
Do you know why I got into radio? It was because
please tell us.
I got into radio. Well, it sort of fell into my lap. I ended up taking over a show that already existed, and then I changed it. But once I got into radio, I realized that it was the perfect thing for me because I don't like to have someone else in control of what I get to listen to. So I get to play my own stuff on the radio, right? So that was brilliant. Of course, there's some laws here that you have to play a certain amount of Australian content, which I had to do. But that's fine. I got no problem with that. But yeah, I mean, that's more. I mean, here I am. I'm not advocating radio, but you know, I made my version of radio where I could play whatever I wanted. So because I don't like listening to Triple M, I don't listen to Gola 4. You know, it's in the car, yes, but you know, if I can stream something else, I will. Yeah. But I think there's a certain age that there's a lot of people. You know, I won't say what my job is, but I work in the internet. So I speak to a lot of people who don't have the wherewithal to run a streaming app. I got people that don't even know what an app is. Yeah. Google. What's Google? How do I open Google? Can you open up Chrome? No, I don't know what that is. So there's a certain age of people that, you know, radio is all they have. And maybe when they're gone in 20, 30 years, 40 years time, and of course that will be, you know, I don't think I'll be around 40 years. I'll be, if 40 years, I'd be 92. So that's not going to happen. All right. So I'm an old guy now. Yeah, I think that it's just going to go with whatever happens to be, you know, right now it's TikTok and all that, you know, it's a 20-second, somebody shares a video or a little 20-second clip of some new song, and then you go to Spotify and you download it and you listen to it. That's how you get it. It's how we consume. I don't know. I just wanted to say one thing. Someone talked about it earlier. Joshua Batten, my friend, that is amazing stuff. Yes, love it. So he sent me some clips there a few weeks ago to Messenger, and I was just like, wow. Keep it up, buddy. Great stuff. Great stuff.
You know what, Jeff? And I'm going to be that person. I'm old school, and I love my tactile records. I love my CDs. I love it all.
I don't like Kindle. I like books.
And that is history. And it's like, you want to talk about the future? Let's talk about fucking Stranger Things. Let's talk about the resurgence of Kate Hills running up that hill. Kate Bush running up that hill. Let's talk about Metallica, Master of Puppets, although that was overrated.
Kate Hill running up that bush.
I guess what I'm trying to say, right, is as much as it fucking pains me, and I'm old school, mate, I'm a dickhead. I could show you my fucking CD collection. I could show you my records collection.
I think I can see it.
I'm old. I'm fucking old, right? I'm a dinosaur. That is not the way of the future, and that is not reality. And the reality is these kids are streaming and it's digital. Yeah. And I use Stranger Things as a truly relevant example. Yeah. Like Kate Bush running up that hill is the theme song from that show. Even though Master of Puppets got a fucking minor shadow moment, it was all about
shadow moment. It went to number one again, Nikki.
Exactly. But like I look at my kids who are 24 and 25, it's like they don't fucking listen to the radio. They don't fucking have a clue. They don't want to know. They don't give a shit.
No.
What is on TikTok? What is on socials? Blah, blah, blah. Where do they find their own tunes and go down their own rabbit hole? And I'm just like,
up that hill.
If you said to me, what is the relevance of radio? As a fucking chick of the 80s and a fucking old school babe, I'd go, it's so relevant. But you know what? Today, now, it's not. It's fucking not relevant. It's fucking not. I hate to say that. It pains me, but it's true.
You're right.
I think that Video killed the radio star. Internet's killed everything else. That's that's about where I'm at with where we're
right.
at. Yeah.
Well, I mean, will there be a day when the kids, the adults, the kids now as they grow up to be adults, that they go back, I remember the day when it was Spotify and TikTok. Yeah. What else is coming that we don't know?
Yeah.
And that will be the obsolete stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be. Yeah.
But I mean, look at Facebook.
Yeah. Yep.
Facebook's for the oldies now.
Yep.
I know. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The younger ones.
It wasn't fucking the first album.
I was
17.
I was the last person in my friendship group to get on Facebook.
Downloaded. No one gives a fuck. I'm sorry, but they don't.
I was the last person in my friendship group to get onto Facebook when I was like 17.
I'm the oldest of the siblings for me and my family immediately, and I was the last one to get on.
But that was when it was cool. It was everybody my age was on Facebook. Before that, it was MySpace. Before that, it was MSN messages. It was
MySpace.
Hello, Tom. You're my best friend, Tom. Thanks.
We do need to move on, but it's an interesting conversation. So make sure you let us know your thoughts are there. But yeah, it's an interesting dynamic little one there. People are exploring their own music or their own ways to find new music or new content. So let us know how you generally consume things just in the conversations, the comments as we go along. We'll get into the topic in a second. I'll get some comments though first. Vinny says, "Wake up, Jeff." Always wanted to say that. So there we go. Sally said, I'll go through a comment a lot here. So Chris says, got here in time for the hot topic, was finishing off episode 2 of House of the Dragon. And speaking of people consuming things the way they want to consume things, there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed the topic and the show as well. Gears says, we'll see you all next year and down under tour from New Zealand and Australia. We'll keep up. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing you when you get here. And here we go. Haven't listened to radio since the mid-90s.
Exactly.
All radio sucks, even the digital stations too, from Scott. There we go. Chris says, most community radio station I've ever listened to seems to be 90% ancient presenters and country music. Fuck my life. Scott says, and this is the thing too, he says, don't get me wrong, I would like my band to be played on there, but at the same time, people don't really think it's going to happen. Vinny says, regarding radio, I used to love Triple M growing up with the high rotation of the same songs and how often they stray away from what I perceive to be rock songs. Long story short, only need it for footy these days, and that's another good one there. So he says, it's not relevant to a significant degree anymore at all. I know the older people that listen to AM rather than FM, but a very specific target market. The only time I hear radio is if it's in my mum's car or has background noise in a retail situation. Chris says commercial music-based radio is an utter joke and is getting worse. Breakfast and drive shows of a handful of washed-up C-grade celebrity idiots whose primary job is to incessantly laugh at anything said, then play Photograph and Sweet Child. That's us without the music. Yep. So Nicole says, evening. I'm sorry. It's all good. Whenever you get here is when you get here. Hopefully you're enjoying the conversation tonight. Conrad says, I've done radio shows for years and hoping to again soon. I hope that there will be an audience out there that will listen. It's an interesting conversation, that one too. I think the more you can get onto streaming services is the way you can do it. Vinny says, Dave's overthought. He honestly thought mid to late 30s. What's your secret? Subscribe to his OnlyFans account to find out more.
The secret is barbecue shakes.
I think Chris has the answer. 100 grams daily of organic guns and bloody biodynamic roses. So there we go. Gears says, we're happy my band Viking Queen are playing worldwide on radio. So there we go. Chris also says, radio, the traditional form where music is chosen for people and listeners to not get any choice, is dead. That's probably the best way to sum up everything we've said right now. I think that's it. Here's one. Darren says, I'm 56. The only station to listen to is SEN, so that's Sports Talk.
Wow, Darren. Okay.
Also says, no people use their phones with pads at work, not radio. So, yeah, it's getting a lot more common too, especially with pass-through headphone technology. So you can get the noise cancellation, or you can have things where it actually passes through, dynamic active headphones. It's actually becoming a big thing now.
Bluetooth headphones aren't what they were when they first came out.
No, and they're a game changer now. You can hear everything going on around you as well as listen to what you want to listen to.
I remember when they first came out, they sucked shit.
Yeah. Now they're
awesome.
They're mine, to be the Apple guy, my AirPods Pro, the ones I've got now, they rival my actual, headphones that I put on for noise cancelling, just doing nothing with. So They're pretty good these days. Chris says people don't want to be told what to listen to; they want to choose what to listen to, and that's it. There, it's about choice. Someone had some drinks, perhaps. Yes, we've all had drinks, mostly Nikki. Darren says mostly use Spotify, YouTube for music. So there we go. Nicole says only listen to radio in the car. Hubby is driving. Play With Me by Extreme was in the first EP and got ignored. So there's Chris. That one is there too. That's another one too. What radio stations got wrong over the years is remarkable. Man Family Cars, need digital radios, community radio rocks as well. Check out 3KND. So there we go.
Yeah. Nice.
Vinny says, talk about being old, I still have Creed CDs in pristine condition.
Me too.
He also says, anal probes by aliens coming to a future near you. So there we go. Here we go. Rowan is saying AI is coming. AI will be able to write a song in the style of anyone you wanted to. I'm not even joking. And that's probably going
to Yeah.
Check out AI art.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've heard of that.
There's apps and stuff. Wow.
Amazing. Yeah. I've seen some of that stuff.
That's nuts. Nicole says, I remember we got one computer at high school to share and talk about old school. I remember that as well. Nicole says, my hearing aids do that. So the active passive listening. So there we go. All right, let's get into another one here, another conversation before we get into the reviews and then get out of here tonight. I'll hang on quickly. DB says, good to see you, buddy. He's gone, there are still some cool aspects to the radio, but no doubt it's losing its charm of days gone by. So I think we are noticing a trend even amongst our audience. And to be fair, this is not a slight. It's just, you go through the demographics. Our audience does slide on the older side than the younger side. So there we go. All righty, but we want to go and play a little bit of overrated, underrated tonight. Hang on, before we do. Chris says, in 40 years, all the old fuckers will be whinging about how back in the day they had to load an app to listen to music. On the line.
Testify.
Very true. We'll always find something to complain about. But let's play some overrated, underrated before we get out of here. And this is that, Jeff, you got no idea this is coming, but the other ones have had a bit of warning on this one. And that is, we're going to talk about, the theatrical, the big stage shows. Like think of Kiss, Rammstein, all the bands put on a massive, awesome, spectacular visual performance to go with the music live on stage. And if we think that those are overrated, underrated, or about right, let's go to you first, Dave. Where do you land on this one, seeing as you've just got off the Kiss tour?
Underrated. Seriously underrated these days. I don't think 20 years ago, I would have said it was about just right. But these days, I think it's not as appreciated as it was. I think younger audiences might not be as impressed. They might be a bit tired with it. They might prefer smaller venues with just straight up performances. But for my generation, it was all about stadium rock. It was all about not even as elaborate as Kiss, but fireworks at the end, or confetti, or maybe a light show. All different types of stuff you can do to add to the performance of the music on stage. And even for the person that's right at the back of the stadium that can't see the band unless they're on the monitors, you can still see the explosions and the lights and everything. So, and even on a smaller scale, like what Alice Cooper does, or what Wednesday Vertical does to these days, it's got the theatre aspect. You got bringing the stories of the songs to life by performing. There's a whole other art form to that. Combine not just a band performance, but theatre and comedy and audience interaction at some stage. Getting this side of the crowd to sing something and then that crowd to sing it back, like what Bruce Dickinson was doing on Live After Death. That was one of the first live albums I heard, and that was fucking awesome. You get the crowd going, and that in like a stadium or an arena, that shit's cool. But it goes into a slightly different topic. But Metallica, Kiss, they're not getting any younger. And Kiss are almost done. Metallica might have 10 years left. All these stadium rock bands, they don't have much time left. Sad thought, but there's bands there like Ghost. Ghost are putting on a fucking amazing show. They would be cool to rise to arena level and tour. They can headline festivals. Yeah. But if they get to that level where they're touring arenas and stadiums, if they get to Kiss level, I'd be happy. But bands like Ghost are few and far between. And Rammstein put on a fucking great show, but they're not a young band anymore.
No, they're not. They're definitely not.
But I think it's sadly becoming very underrated because, it could be just me. Once again, I'm an old fuck. But it was cool. You know, as fun as it is going to a pub, you get a whole different energy from that type of gig. But as the bands get bigger and more people want to come and see them, and you do bigger shows, you want that little bit extra to just make it a bit more exciting.
Yep.
So,
What about you, Tim? You're the active musician amongst us, so where do you land on?
I just want to clarify what we're talking about. When we're talking about over-the-top stadium rock shows, we talking about over-the-top stadium rock shows where there's extra shit happening outside of the band playing?
Yeah, but I'd also like to think in terms of it. Okay, just to go into it a bit, I think that smaller bands, for example.
Okay, so for example, right? And when you talk about an over-the-top stadium rock show with all the fireworks, glitz and clazzles, I would not class Metallica as that band.
No, I wouldn't either. I agree.
I think Metallica, you can play in a stadium and not do what Kiss does.
Yeah, Steel Panther do it as well. Yeah,
you know, you can have play in a stadium.
Metallica having the stage in the middle. That's a different. That's what.
Yeah, that's a stage. That's not.
I'm talking about mirrors, outside of the band themselves. So, for example, things playing on a projector behind them and other stuff like that. That's what I'm more interested in.
So for all that stuff, okay, in that case, massively overrated. That's not to say I don't like that stuff. One of the best tours I ever saw in my life was Parliament Funkadelic, and when they did their last headline tour, and it was called Dr. Funkenstein's Traveling Circus of Freaks or something like that. And they played like a 25-piece band in Billboard.
Yeah.
Right? And they had, acrobats and gymnasts and fire breathers and all this shit on stage. And it was fucking brilliant. Right? And they did that at Billboard.
Yep.
I just saw the Strokes last week, and you could barely see the band with all the lasers and shit going on.
Okay.
It was fucking brilliant. Well, not last week, a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, besides the point. Having said that, I still think that nothing beats a really good band just playing.
Okay.
I think sometimes all the other shit is just a crutch that's used as maybe just a band being a little bit lazy. I think if you're a really good band, then you don't need it.
Okay. Cool.
And I think, like the best performer I ever saw in my life was Paul McCartney, and he stood there and played for 3 hours, and it was brilliant.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Cool.
So that, whether it was them or Metallica or Iron Maiden or whoever, that's not to say there weren't great people who had heaps of glitz and glamour. Like, I've seen Ghost before. But, nothing beats a band just playing.
Nice. Cool.
Because, it's not dying out. I mean, have you seen Pink lately? Like, Pink's not doing small shows. That's,
close.
Jason Derulo barely sings. He's just doing a dance troupe. Rihanna's barely singing. She's not just doing a dance troupe. It's a Michael Jackson show. It's that kind of thing. The Michael Jackson influence, sorry. It's that thing. So over-the-top theatrical musical shows aren't going away. As far rock bands can play in big venues, but as far as having all that other glitz and glamour goes, enjoyable, but the good bands don't need it.
Okay, cool. Just waiting to see if Nikki's coming back because she's completely.
No, here's what I will say too. The other thing. Kiss.
Yep.
As great as that show was, right? Now I didn't go to the show. I can guarantee you, if you saw that band in at Billboard, no makeup, no costumes, just a backdrop, 4 dudes on stage, I can guarantee you, if you're at the front row of that, you'd have loved it way more than the other show.
Okay.
Different energy. I mean, you check out the Unplugged performance. That's fantastic.
Unplugged doesn't count. Unplugged is not. Unplugged is. What the fuck is that, bro? It's who wants to see Kiss Unplugged?
Fantastic.
That's the McDonald's salad of music.
Performance.
Oh, Tim coming in.
It's like Alice in Chains Unplugged. It wasn't Alice in Chains Unplugged. It was Alice in Chains, Marshall Stacks.
Yeah. All right. Fucking hell. All right, Jeff, what about you? Where do you land on this one? This is a different conversation.
I think it's underrated. I think the band. There's nothing quite. I mean, let's put it this way: Kiss puts on the show that they put on. I didn't see it. I wish it did. Sorry, Dave. I'm envious of you, but they put on the show because they can. And if you got it, you flaunt it. And so, the end of the day, what are you going to remember? You're going to remember a band. Yes, 4 or 5 guys up on stage playing with the backdrop or whatever and playing, or you're going to remember a show that you're going to go, holy shit, look what I just saw. Metallica, I saw them on the was that Cunning Stunts tour. I almost said that reverse there.
That's okay.
I saw them on that, and that was just, that was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. And I still remember it. I still remember it.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, that's where they set the guy on fire and the dude falls from the roof.
That's correct. Yeah. And we all thought it when it was happening. We thought it was like, what the hell? The holy shit! The place, we thought that it was actually a problem. And I still remember it to this day. That was in '97, and so what was that 25 years ago? Yeah. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. But I think that the bigger bands, look, they'll do it. And there's no way, Tim, you can't tell me that if the younger bands or the smaller bands couldn't do it, they wouldn't do it. If they could, they would. The fact is, of course. Yeah. So that makes your point moot. So
wait a minute. But like I said, it depends on what we're talking about. I mean, okay, for example. Like Slayer having blood rain from the roof for one song. Yeah. I wouldn't count that as like a huge theatrical show.
No, I wouldn't. I agree.
No, but it's an effect.
You know what I mean?
You're going to remember it. It's something you're going to remember. That if they didn't do it, look, it's all about, like I said, if you
trust me, if they didn't do it, I'd still remember.
Of course. Well, you know what? When Slayer came to download, I knew I was there, obviously, and when I had a choice to go watch Slayer doing their last show ever or go see Ghost, guess where I was? I went and saw Ghost because I just had to see them. They were in the other tent thing.
Yeah. I think it depends on. I think it depends on. Okay, like
I love Slayer.
It's much been a thing for me personally too, but I really like an intense performance. Like I like when I go see a band, I want to see people hitting. I want to see people breaking strings. I want to see people really attacking their instruments. And I've noticed, like, just for me, I don't think bands really do that when you've got the show to go with it. I think bands tend to rely on the show rather than entertaining the crowd themselves. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Okay, like I've seen Ghost before as well, and Ghost are great, right? But I don't think Ghost had to work for it as hard, that night. Okay, well, obviously Slayer was their last show. They didn't have to work for shit. They don't have to work for shit. But I mean, okay, for example, if you were compared to the last time Slayer toured, when Dave Lombardo quit a week before and John Denny replaced him, and they had to work that night, and it was just there. And I think it was Gary Holt's second Slayer tour altogether, and Pat O'Brien just took on the European tour to replace Jeff Fanneman, and like they had to work that night, and it was just 4 dudes on stage with a backdrop, killed it.
Sure.
Had they had all the backdrop and the lights, and they played in the middle of the night, I don't think it would not have been as cool. I think you find out how good a band is when it's just 4 dudes on stage.
Okay.
I think he can have both, though. I mean, look at Alice Cooper.
Yes.
Alice Cooper both surrounds himself with fantastic musicians. They fucking kill it every night. And Alice does what Alice does. Yeah. You can have both.
Yeah. I saw Alice in '87.
That's the performance. The performance elevates the music. It works good together.
Yeah.
I'm going to come at this from a different angle. And it's actually really cool to get the different points. I'm going to go with underrated as a rule, but probably not for the reasons being articulated so far tonight. I would argue that in this day and age where people are so spoiled for entertainment purposes and for all those things where it's harder and harder to get people out of the house, you're going to get people that are purists like Tim that want to see, bands attacking the instruments. And I think that is still vitally important. I think that is probably going to become more important later on as, attention spans wane as well. But I think that adding, some lighting backdrops and something to display and something to make it actually pop in the mind and in the visual, to get the attention, to make it a full surreal experience, immersive experience, I should say, rather, would be something that would be, I think that's underappreciated or underrated, because I think that that's what's going to get people to get out of their house down the line. Even at the smaller venues, just having a great big light. I'd forget the venue, Tim, but you have that you've had that stage where you had that big light show, like the big LCD screen behind you. I forget which venue that was, but yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, like I said, I just want to clarify. When we're talking about this, we're talking about outside of the normal light shows, smoke machines, shit like that. Because I mean, you don't want to see your guy next, because I can do all that stuff. I don't want to see me on stage. I want to see someone better than me.
Yeah, but I'm talking also in terms of when you, including things like when you see bands like Pink Floyd or even Rush, or
like if you can get a full laser show, like that's different.
But they add visuals, not only pyro, but visual screens and that actually go along with the telling of the song and the story. I think those things add to it. That's, I think, to me, to get people out of the house to go and see a live show, those sorts of aspects are going to bring a lot more emphasis to things and make people want to go and see it more, because that's something you can't, like, you can get the purist shows. I think you can actually tour them in different ways, to be honest, do smaller venues and bigger venues and make it a different event. But I just think that there's a lot more scope to be explored, I think, even from a smaller band, to try and make things more like Sisters Doll, local band. They do a pretty good job with all that kind of stuff.
Again, I wouldn't class Sisters Doll as that over the top rock show. Like, you can be over the top. That's part of the skill of being a great live musician. Yeah. But it's all the extra shit. You know what I mean?
But Kiss,
if we're using Kiss, if we're using the Kiss as the example, like Kiss is the over the top stage show, but most musicians are over the top.
But Kiss is not the benchmark. Kiss is doing something that nobody else is doing, right? I mean, they're putting on a show, right? So there's a lot of shows that like what Iron Maiden, take them, with all the Fire and Eddie and all that stuff. I would go see Iron Maiden playing in a shithouse, a toilet, really, because I love the band. I don't care what the show is. Yeah. But the fact is that they put on an amazing show with pyro. I've seen the last 3 times Maiden's been at Rod Laver. Okay. And the 2008 one, where they Somewhere Back in Time, was the best one of all the 3. But that was, like I said, if they were playing in the toilet, I would have went and saw them. It wouldn't matter about the show.
I wouldn't class Iron Maiden as like that over the top rock and roll show.
Yeah, but who's over the top outside of Kiss?
I'd say Rammstein.
Rammstein kind of thing.
All right, well, that's 2 bands, and there's a lot more than in the world of rock and roll than 2 bands.
Yeah, but when that's your benchmark, like.
But it's not the benchmark. It's just them. That's why they're in a league of their own. They're going past the benchmark. Other bands can't do that, or they would.
I think I'm going to try and simplify this a bit. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, we're not trying to compete with those 2 bands in particular. I'm just thinking that I think that bands in general can utilize things more than they currently do. That's what I'll put it down to.
Okay. No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. What a somber way to win that conversation.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Look at David. I'm assuming you're going to the upcoming Guns N' Roses when they come out, right?
No, I'm not going to.
No, of course not. See, I had to go see the tickets, and then of course COVID shit on that. I got my money back, and I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't. It's probably sold out now. I'm not going to go. I had my chance. I was going, but do they put on a crazy over-the-top show? Probably not, but it's a pretty big production.
There's probably some fireworks and confetti at the end of Paradise City, and a piano.
Yeah. Well, what does Ghost do now? I think at the end of the show, I watched a video of the Ghost, the new tour. He's actually dropping dollar bills. Like, takes a couple $1,000, and dollar bills are coming down. You know, well, it's only costing him a couple $1,000, and then people are going crazy trying to grab all these dollar bills. Some people are going to go up like the sticky bandits covered in tape.
I think it's kind of cool. Like, it's just a funny little thing where I guess I'm just sort of itching for more bands to have something of a trademark like that. Something you know you're going to get when you go and see the band, as opposed to just guys. I have no problem seeing just people attack the instruments on stage. I think that's fantastic as well. It's just, I think that to get people out of the house as time goes on, you're going to need more just that to drag people out. That's what I think. But hey,
you're spot on. It's like if someone says, you know, I'm cooking tonight. I'm having you over for dinner, and they're gonna just, you know, here's a sandwich or something plain. Or they're gonna say, no, we're gonna have a barbecue. We're gonna have steak. We're gonna have, you know, baked potatoes. Where are you gonna go? You're gonna say yes. Give me all that. You know, give me a friggin' sandwich. It's what's on the menu that counts. What's on the menu that counts.
How good is this sandwich?
I make a killer Reuben sandwich. I'll tell you, it's that thick with meat. It's gorgeous.
wow.
All right, I just used a sandwich, as a bad example. But what would you rather have, a sandwich or a steak? Come on.
This is amazing.
I guess you know what? This is the argument. I think. Is it a steak or a sizzle?
Yeah. Says where? Yeah.
I like that answer. I like that answer.
Oh wow! All right, let's get some comments. Get some people out here. What do we got? Vinny says, we keep referring to this younger generation. Can anyone pinpoint what's happened? I mean, aside from the technology, they still have access to concerts, CDs, etc. The stuff we grew up with, are they lazy? Are they unmotivated? What's driving this adverse behavior, fear or anxiety? I would argue to that question that it's a combination of they have a lot more entertainment choices than we had growing up. And two, they're probably more financially unstable than we were as well at the same time, I'd argue.
Three, we got Tinder.
Well, yes, you do, Tim. That makes a big difference, actually, things like that. Dating apps. Yeah, there you go. Well, here we go. We're getting some comments. No, Nicole's going to go for the music, not for the sideshow. Darren's the same. He's gone spot on. Tim, it's like the music, not the wank fest. Here we go. Vinny says, Unplugged was a masterpiece. Really enjoyed seeing Kiss through a more intimate lens. Conrad says, seen the last tours from Rammstein, Metallica, and Maiden in Europe. They were all huge stage shows, and it adds to having a great experience. However, a band like Motley Crue will hide behind the smokes and mirrors, and I don't agree with it being something to hide behind, and that's definitely true there. Here we go. Nicole says, the Eagles were amazing live without the stage effects. Good bands don't need bling, so we're getting a lot of diversity. Darren says, right there with you, Nicole. Mal says, how dare you diss the Mighty Crew, the greatest band of all time? I think you'll find a lot of people will be quite happy to diss the Crew. I'm not one of them. I like them, but I think that a lot of people will. Darren says, that Slayer show was fucking awesome, so there we go.
Great.
Nicole said, I was lucky enough to see Lombardo drumming with Slayer. That's cool. Darren says, the world is more visually based, so in some cases, the music itself isn't going to cut it to get a crowd in the door. There we go. Chris says extravagance in a live show is a very band-dependent thing, though, which is I agree with that one too. Nicole says, I hear you there, Jeff. I'm not sure if that's about the sandwich or something else. But Chris says Trans-Siberian Orchestra puts on a show to rival Kiss's extravagance, yet Sabotage couldn't fill a mid-sized theater on their own when they were still together other than festival crowds. It's band-dependent. So there we go.
That's true. Yeah.
Vinny says, I say Alice Cooper in concert is an over-the-top visual, but equally his songs are just as enjoyable without. Could easily slip into both categories, so we're getting that one too. Nicole says, the older I get, the fussier I am with who I'll go see. I think that's all of us. Vinny says, you must be a champion in the bedroom if you're only offering your date a sandwich.
It's a Reuben sandwich. It's a Reuben. You just got to try a Reuben. Trust me. It'll change your life.
It's a sausage roll. Sally says, I'm going to say when it comes to any gig, if the band's performance is just flat and cardboard, it doesn't matter how many bells, whistles, and bangers you have going off the punters will not roll with that happily. Crowd interaction and music delivery has to be stellar because people will fucking turn on you quick as a snake. You just phone in a performance because you've got sparkles and streamers on stage. You'll be all over social media before the gig is even over. Just ask Santa Cruz about that kind of stuff lately. And Nicole says, about Iron Maiden, I go to the toilets to watch them too.
I see you there. See you there, Nicole.
This could get dangerous quickly. I think we've lost Nikki, unfortunately. Nikki, I hope you had fun tonight. It was good seeing you. And I think we're about to get into the review. So is there anything else you want to say here, Jeff, before we let you go, I guess?
Get me back sometime. I love it. This is amazing. I talk about this to all my friends. I say, hey, you got to watch this video. And, I absolutely have a blast. So, yeah, I love it. Nice to see all you guys. Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. All good.
Always welcome.
Soon. Love having you with us. And Conrad, I know you're here. We'll get you in soon as well to do the Megadeth review. That's going to be coming up not next week, the week after. We'll make sure that happens. We will tear that up for sure. Nicole's gone, good night, Nikki. So Nikki's saying good night to Nikki.
Good night, Nikki.
Good night, Nikki. Hopefully she's somewhere. But yeah, no, absolutely an absolute blast. Have you back again, Jeff. We'll do it all again soon. People make him feel welcome out there. Nicole saying thanks, Jeff. So that's awesome to see. Please do that, people. And we will do it all again soon. So we'll let you go, Jeff.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you in the toilet, Nicole. And take it easy. See you later. Bye-bye.
What a way to sign out. Cheers, mate. We'll see you soon. Take it easy.
Rock on, guys. See ya.
Yeah.
Oh, that was amazing. All right. Chris said extravagant bands.
My head now. Room.
What?
You know the Kiss song, Ladies' Room?
Oh. God, here we go. All right. So what do we fucking know? Chris says extravagant bands can pull off small intimate shows that can't work the other way. Well, there you go. I saw Maiden Festival. They were brilliant. Sally says thanks, Jeff. Conrad says thanks, Jeff. Vinny says in the toilet with a sandwich. And Darren's gone, is Jeff setting up dates? It looks like maybe there's a new dating service in that.
What about that big sandwich Homer Simpson ate and made him sick?
Oh yes, that massive 10-foot long thing that he carried with him for ages. Wouldn't let it die. It started growing in the end.
But I'd like to be alone with the sandwich. Are you gonna eat it? Yes.
Oh, champagne television. Nicola says, I'll see you in stall 3, Jeff. So there we go. For the people tuning in on that one there. All righty. What do we got? Jeff has gone into the chat here saying, check out the amazing Reuben sandwich, the sandwich to rule them all. That's in the private chat here behind the scenes. All right, we'll have to check that out. Here we go. Vinny says, anyone seen Peter Griffin eating footlongs through a glory hole? So I haven't seen that.
That sounds like a glory hole nightmare. Hey.
Hey, well done. Good, cheap plug there, Tim. Well played. All right, let's do it.
We've been talking about the Elvis Presley sound, the bacon, peanut butter, and banana.
What
concoction?
No.
Yeah, there's an Elvis Presley one that you can take. It's from his cookbook, from the chef's cookbook, Graceland. Yeah. But it's like crispy bacon, peanut butter, banana, buttered bread, and then grilled.
Wow, that sounds.
Oh well, he did die of constipation.
Okay, I wonder why. That probably explains that. Fucking hell, that's intense. Be an interesting taste. Would be a very interesting taste. I'm not sure I'd enjoy it, but hey, we'll see what happens in that regard. All right, shall we do a review? We've got a few to get through.
Yeah, let's go.
We got one with Tim, so I'll make Tim wait. We'll get Dave on this one first. Oh, here we go. Chris says, deep fry that fucker, which is what it is there. Mel says, damn it, Jeff's gone had an update on my Rush experience for him. So there we go. But Jeff is in the comments over on YouTube, Mel, so I don't know if you want to jump on YouTube and you can chat to him there. He's gone, can't wait. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the love. So there we go. But that is Jeff chatting away over on YouTube. So maybe jump over there, Mel, if you want to do that. Alrighty, first of 3 reviews. We know that Tim's going to go off on this one, so I'll go to Dave in a second just to make Tim wait a little bit longer, keep him with us just for a few minutes more. But it's going to be the chats. We're going to talk about the chats next. We've got a single link in the description box, but in the comments you'll also find it. This is the chats with Out on the Street. That is your reference track for this one. So the chats Out on the Street is your reference track as we go through the new album from the band. So this is the chats with Get Fucked. 13 tracks for 28 minutes. The second studio album from the Sunshine Coast band, released August 2022 via Bargain Bin Records, which is their own label. produced by Cody McWaters at Hunting Ground. 4 singles have been released, including Strike by Lightning and 6 Liter GTR. The album has so far managed to peak at number 2 here in Australia, and this is the band's first album without guitarist Josh Price, who departed to pursue a solo career. That role has now been filled by Josh Hardy. Last time around, a few of us absolutely loved their debut album, namely Tim being one of them. I think Brendan was another one as well. So let's see if there's any second album blues, and this is going to be a challenge. Let's see how Dave went with this one. How'd you go?
Look, long-time viewers of the show know that I'm not really keen on punk rock, but I did have a revelation of sorts listening to this. At first, I thought it was a punk rock album, but as I listened, I suddenly realized it's actually not punk. Okay, we appear to have 13 songs that clock in at 28 minutes. What it actually is 13 parts. This is prog rock. Brainfield, a couple of epic songs around 45 minutes. Collectively, all of this goes for about 28 minutes with 13 parts. That's fucking epic, man. Very epic. Okay? So, prog rock, this is very cool. Now, sure, it doesn't have as many tempo changes as your average prog rock song, but it's consistent tempo. You realize that you're listening to one long song. And it's a concept album as well. You know, it follows the day in the life of an everyday working class man who has a passion for 6-liter GTRs and has to deal with the timeless conflicts of rising cost of smokes and those fascist ticket inspectors. Stuff in here. Great themes. Now, I did mention that it kind of stuck to the same tempo, but Emperor of the Beach got some very slick time tempo changes in the middle. You know, the band really show off their chops. Very cool section in the middle. I like that.
Wow.
On the whole, it does go through a whole range of emotions from anger to frustration to humor. You know, it's a deep trip inside of Bogan's mind, and it's artfully done through music and lyrics. You know, with anger, hunger, and punchy songs, they've covered some very interesting stories. And perhaps I've been wrong about punk all these years. Maybe these short, punchy songs are actually all one mixed together, and they're concept albums. Punk is actually prog rock. Look at it that way, I can enjoy this. I gave this 8 out of 10. Ticket Inspector, Price of Smokes, and Emperor of the Beach were my standouts. This is fucking fun.
Excuse me while I pick my jaw up off the floor. My God. I didn't expect that at all.
I explained this to you when Big Destroyer came over.
Yeah, you did. You did do this, Tim.
You got to listen to it as one song.
Yeah.
It's an artwork in total.
Exactly. It's prog. It's not punk, it's prog.
Wow. All right. Well, Tim, I know you've got one in the rack, so launch.
All right, so I actually saw the Chats a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And they were playing some new songs, and I one particular song stood out to me, and they were singing lyrics about hey, you don't need a big fancy car. You just need a 6-liter GTR. And I thought, well, this is fucking brilliant. I was so happy when I turned this album on, and that was the first song. Fuck me. I was so happy.
Yeah.
And like the lyric again, the price of smokes has gone up again. I got the nerve to punch a cut in the head.
Yes.
Brilliant. Brilliant storytelling.
Oh.
It's more than punk rock. This is Australian folk music at its finest.
That's a good way to put it, actually.
It is. But it is a uniquely nobody who's not lived in Australia could listen to this and understand what the fuck he's talking about.
I know. Yeah, I agree. It's quintessentially Australian.
It is beautiful. Like it's a little bit less variety than their previous album, if I'm totally honest. Much more aggressive on the front end, especially.
Yeah.
But 28 minutes is perfect for this kind of stuff. There's enough variety, more guitar chops than previously. He's actually a pretty good guitar player. Fantastic drumming all around. Lyrically, he's just brilliant. But also the greatest album title I've ever seen. I think we need to create a new category for the end of year awards for album title of the year for Get Fucked.
Okay. Yeah, all right, we can do that. Album title.
But in turn, because of the album title, album cover of the year is also Get Fucked. Just seeing Get Fucked on the front of a cover.
Yeah, that's true.
And lyric of the year, Price of Smokes has gone up again. I got the nerve to punch a cut in the head. Can't beat it. You cannot beat it. This is a phenomenal album. As beautifully simplistic and just fantastic. This is a wonderful album for anyone to listen to. Obviously, it's not going to be for everybody, but if you are punk rock adjacent in any way, give it a listen. If you just like humor and bogan comedy, just give it a listen, and you never know what you might like it. As proven by Dave's review, 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Remember, I gave the last Chat's album 8.5 out of 10, and I got messages saying like, "What the fuck, dude? Come on, listen to it." There is so much more to this band than Smoko and Pub V.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. 6-liter GTR, like, what a song. That's my highlight.
Wow. Well, look, basically, long story short, if you are familiar with this band, you are going to get exactly what you expect them to be. If you like them, this will make you happy. I put my note here that if you don't like them, I don't think it'll change your mind. But Dave has just put the lie to that, so maybe I'm wrong on that one. It's bizarre. It is more attacking than the last album. It's got that harsh, abrasive edge to it. It's pretty lowbrow, but it's very energetic. This is all you want from this style of music. It really, really is. They've picked up right where they left off from the last album. But while it's a bit more attacking, they've got something really sort of infectious going on with this one too. There's an obnoxious charm that's just works its way under your skin that more than you expect it to. I'm not huge on the genre overall, but I get the appeal of these guys a lot more than other bands. Like if you put things like Sex Pistols on, that I struggle with that much more than I. The Chats doesn't bother me. I can listen to the Chats over and over again. Other bands of the genre I kind of find a bit harder.
The Sex Pistols are as English though as the Chats are Australian.
That could be part of it as well. So yeah, that's a good point.
Also, like the Sex Pistols, also very 70s English as well.
Yeah, There's something about being contemporary, isn't there? And this is like where you put you made the comment before about Australian folk these days, and this is basically what it is. It's the modern day equivalent to Australian folk or Australian storytelling.
The Chats are the modern day Henry Lawson.
Yes. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. What I liked about this one was how messy it sounds, but how tight they actually are when you dig into it. They're sharp. They know what they're doing. There's nothing complicated. It's far from it, but they're very, very good at what they do. And there is, like you said, a bit more flash in the guitar on this one too, which is really, really cool. The production really suits the music as well. The harsher tones, it's got a bit more of a brutal kind of a mix, like, think of, so early AC/DC in feel and vibe kind of a thing. But it's well balanced as well. Nothing complicated, but it's easy to fuck this up too. It's easy to get this wrong. And they did a very good job just getting it right. And it sounds like it should. And that actually means a lot for this style of music. But what I really enjoyed too is how authentic this is. Like you believe the emotive conviction. Like it's not highbrow stuff. But you believe that he's genuinely pissed off and he wants to punch cunts in the head. You believe that he loves driving around in his 6-liter GTR. You believe everything being said here. And that's really cool. You believe that he's been drunk in every pub in Brisbane. That this is definitely, the reality of the day for these people. Even if it's not, it's so well told, it's convincing across the board. This is a good time. It's a lot of fun. There's some cool syncopation in the vocal delivery as well. And I think the lyrics are, fantastic along with the guitar side I mentioned before. There's just enough tempo shifts in this one to make it flow nicely as well. The Price of Smokes is well placed because it slows down a little bit on this one. These guys playing with Amyl and the Sniffers would go fucking off. Amyl and the Sniffers, Private Function. Yes. Yeah, there are so many great Australian punk bands at the moment. It's a good little scene going now. I wasn't really aware of it as much as I am these days. It's really doing some good things at the moment. Everything here ranged from 34 seconds to 3 minutes and 41 minutes. 3 minutes and 41 seconds. It's got more diversity than you think when you listen to it, though, when you think about a 28-minute album. I'm not quite as sure it's as purely entertaining as the first album, but at the same time, it's more direct attacking. It's one of those ones that it's probably more charming in its own little way because they're just doubling down. Like with an album called Get Fucked, you're not leaving any room for negotiation. You're just fucking going at it. So they've just gone for it and they've swung for the fences and they fucking hit it out of the park. It's really well done. It's half an hour of dumb fun. It's nothing wrong with that at all. This is perfect for this style of music. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I also picked 6-liter GTR, Ticket Inspector, and Struck by Lightning as my standouts on this one. So that was quite a bit of fun, something a bit different there as well. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Sorry, just all good, Jeff. I know you can still hear me. He's just put a comment in the chat there. Let's get into the comments though. Wow, okay. Nicole says, "Oh, Punk's not dead yet." No, not with these guys, not at all. Chris has asked the question: if Bogan has a deep mind, they can do. Darren,
of course, man. We're all
yeah. Darren says, these guys, sorry,
everybody's
mate?
got their own thing.
Yes, definitely. Nicole, this is cool. This actually ties into the Punk special we did. They almost have a ska feel to them, which is that kind of the crossover elements in variety of punk music is really well done. It's really cool. Chris says Bogan folk music. That's true. Here's another one too. Nicole says I can imagine these guys in Area 7 playing together. That would be an interesting mix.
I'm sure given the opportunity they would take Area 7 at Punk Rock Heroes of Australia. Yeah,
exactly. Vinny says it's very Anarchy in the Ruji Hill RSL kind of stuff. Nice. TJ says, sorry for my absence. I've had 4 heart attacks watching the footy. I did see the results, and yes, I don't know what side of things you're on, but that was a tight one. Chris says Banjo Chatterson. That's to which Vinny has replied, Chats Farnham. So there we go. And Darren has posed the question, will the next album be called Motherfucker? Possibly. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yes, TJ. I'm not giving any spoilers in the comments. I see the result there once all around. But Tim, I think that about wraps you up, doesn't it, for tonight?
That does wrap me up. I'm done from here. What is that, Dave? What are you showing?
Sorry?
What is that Dave showing, the paper?
I don't know. What's Dave holding up? What?
Okay.
It was his hand. He was doing something with his hand like that before. I don't know what.
Yeah, okay.
I was trying to fix the volume on my phone. It's gone quiet, and I don't know why.
Yeah, okay.
Can you hear us?
You can hear me good. It's all good. I'll make do.
Yeah, we can hear you. All right. Well, while Dave dicks with his phone, is there anything I want to put in the bins in?
Well, my lack of 6-liter GTR.
Well played. Nice. Fucking well done. Anything else, or is that where you're at?
No, that's where I'm at with bins right now.
That's nice. Well done, man. That's cool. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here, or are you gonna just wrap up and call it a night?
Yeah, nah, man. Just check out music and enjoy it because there's so much out there.
There is. It's a big year again, and we're having a lot of fun with it too. So, cheers for jumping in, man. It's good to see you again.
I'm sure this album is in stark contrast to the next one.
Yeah, this is going to be a very big gear change in just a second. Nicole saying good night, Tim. TJ saying in the bin winter. Well, yeah, that's gone. So don't worry, winter's over now. And Sally's going thanks Tim as well. So getting some love for Tim, which is good to see in the comments there. Keep it going.
See you all in the next 2 weeks.
Yes, in 2 weeks. Now we're still going. We've got 2 more albums to go through, Dave and myself, but Tim's going to depart us now. Thanks again, Tim. Good to see you. We'll catch up soon.
See you.
See you, man.
All righty. And then there were 2, and Jeff's gone. See you, Tim, there, just in the end there.
Cool.
All righty. Cool. Okay.
You can still hear me fine?
The next gear change. Sorry?
You can hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear everything okay? You good to continue?
Yeah, it's just gone soft. Like
okay.
Half volume. I don't know why, but yeah. We'll press on. It's all good.
In the context of tonight's conversation, saying things have gone soft could be dangerous.
Yeah, the crazy lick's fucked up.
Didn't quite work out. All righty. So now we have in the comments, it's also in the description box if you can't find it. In the comments, we're going to share a link to a Machine Head song while we talk about the new album from them. So your reference track for the next album is Machine Head with No Gods, No Masters. We are taking a massive, massive gear change now from the chats to Machine Head. The new album is Of Kingdom and Crown. It's 13 tracks for 60 minutes, the 10th studio album from the American band released August 2022 via Nuclear Blast and Imperium Recordings. Produced by Rob Flynn and Zach Oren at Sharkbite Studios and the Locust Room in California. 5 singles have been released, including My Hands Are Empty and Choke on the Ashes of Your Hate. This is the band's first with Vaclav Kielta on guitar and also the first of Matt Alston on drums. However, while he's credited, drums were actually performed by Naveen Kopovice, I believe it's pronounced, and this is the band's first ever concept album with the story revolving around 2 characters who go on killing sprees after the death of loved ones and how their lives intertwine. as part of that process. So it's got a bit of a deep, aggressive, dark story inspired by Attack on Titan, I believe, if I'm correct. Anyway, Dave, how'd you go with this one?
Yeah, this is cool. And that track that you posted, No Gods, No Masters, that's fucking brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're very spot on with saying it's dark, but it's good fun dark. I haven't heard a Machine Head song in probably over 20 years. You know, back in the 90s when they first came along, it's just like, yeah, okay. I had my other thing happening, and so I haven't gone back to them since then, but fuck, this band has come a long way since then. Mm-hmm. This is fucking great. I wasn't really sure what to expect when I put it on. The opening track, Slaughter the Martyr, opens up very ominous, not a full-on assault like you would assume, but that soon comes very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And this whole album isn't heavy and dark just for heavy and dark sake. It actually fits the themes and what's going on. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of different textures and space within the guitar playing. First time listening to Choke on the Ashes of Your Hate, that just fucking hooked me and had me for the rest of the album. Yeah, I've just listened to this over and over a few times, just repeat spins, and there was more and more to enjoy of each subsequent listen. Songs are just instantly memorable. It's just really, really good songwriting, and I always go for the guitar solos, and man, there's some great solos and there's awesome riffing. Vocals are great. You know, they're harsh, but they're easy to understand. It gets the story and the lyrics across. Delivery is really, really well done. Especially No Gods, No Masters. I think the vocal performance in that is truly amazing.
Yeah.
Some excellent guitar riffs throughout, as I mentioned. And they close with a slower but just as heavy and dramatic track, Arrows in the Words from the Sky. They got some really interesting song titles. And I just love how that song builds and drops and then, goes through different peaks and troughs, to use one of your quotes. I'll take it. It's a perfect example of your catchphrase. Yeah, it's hard to ignore this band anymore. This album just grabs you by the fucking throat and drags you in. So this is one of those bands I'm going to be backtracking, working my way back, but this is fantastic. It's all there. Vocals, riffs, solos, harmonies, bass drums, composition. I give this 9 out of 10. I fucking love this album.
Cool.
Standouts, Slaughter the Martyr, Choke on the Ashes of Your Hate, My Hands Are Empty, Unhollowed, Killed Our Enemies, No Gods, No Masters, Rotten, Arrows in the Words from the Sky. Great, great album.
Cool. It's funny. Jeff just put in the private chat before he's still waiting in the green room there. He was saying that he was wearing the Edmonton Oilers jersey tonight, which is the arch rival of the team that I follow in the Calgary Flames. He only just realised it, so I was like, I noticed it straight away. I didn't want to say anything at the time. I was just going to let it slide. But yeah, fuck the Oilers. But anyway, now that's been brought up. Anyway, onto the album. The opening epic Slaughter the Martyr is pretty much all you need to know about this album. If you listen to one song from this album, listen to that one, and that'll tell you if you like this one. There's heaps of aggression, but heaps of melody in this too. This is really well balanced between the whole, being aggressive and being beautiful at the same time. Great mix. I love the mix on this one. Really solid, really chunky. But the vocals are crystal clear, which really helps with the clarity of selling the concept or telling the story. The space for the more melodic stuff is really well done too. It's still really snappy though. Like there's lots of space, lots of depth, but it pops out of the speakers really nicely. But it's really organic. It's not one of those ones where it's just completely snapped to the grid and super tight. It feels like a band playing, which is important for this style of music. But I love the tones across this, especially in the guitar. The punch in the drums was really cool as well. There's a nice snap in there. But all in all, it's a surprisingly warm listen too. It's a really nice mix, really easy to listen to, just sonically speaking. It's really well balanced. Not complicated, not a lot of tricks going on in it, but they just got this to sit really nicely and present the atmosphere, which is really important. Again, like the songs tell the story, but the atmosphere being presented in this music and how the sonics are being mixed helps to tell the story even more, which is really well done. The composition goes hand in hand with all this sort of stuff here too. That aids the storytelling, but they've used space really well, and that goes hand in hand with the mix. I've enjoyed the moments where the bass got to take control. There's a really wicked bit of rumble in the bass tone when that happens as well, which is really fucking cool. But the use of tempo and groove changes across this one was really damn well done. The music conveys the frantic emotion, the heartbreak in the story incredibly well, along with the violence that is central to the whole thing. You got all of it. You got really just the depths of despair, and then the violence that can be born out of the depths of that, which is just just the emotive weight was really impressive. I just really enjoyed how they did that. Like, you've got little moments here, Overdose, Assimilate, and Terminus. They're like 45 to a minute and a half long little interludes that really serve to break up the chapters of the story nicely too. The overall narrative and the way the album flows is really damn well done. And what I loved was when they kicked in with the swing on tracks like Unhallowed. That song in particular just has great melody, but that riff is fucking killer. I love that riff. That was, if you love rhythm, that's a song for you. Great diversity in the vocals as well. I'm like you, Dave. I haven't delved deep into Machine Head's catalog, but this, the variety in the vocals, there's almost like 3 or 4 different vocal modes that Rob has on this, which is really quite impressive. And it was a highlight I wasn't actually expecting to get on this one, but it's damn well done. As a general rule, you know, concept albums I'm pretty picky with. They're hard to execute, but this one's done very, very well. It's got everything you want. It's got the blend of the sorrow, the unbridled aggression. It's all presented here really, really nicely. The story is great. There's a real fine line to walk with this kind of music, and they've just nailed it. It's got great riffs, great solos, great vocals, great drums, great bass, all that sort of stuff. This would be great live. Seeing these songs live would be fantastic. And it's one of those concept albums where, yes, you should and you can listen to it in its entirety, and it makes much more sense and it has all the more weight. But if you just cherry pick songs, or if you plucked one here and there out and put it into a live set, they still make sense. They're still great individual pieces of music. So that the individual songs are fantastic, but you just get more joy or more out of it when you listen to the full thing from top to bottom. The final act on this one, Terminus to Arrows, is a great way to close the album out. The beginning and end, the bookends of this album are incredibly well done. So from top to bottom, this is fantastic. I'm like you, I gave it 9 out of 10 as well. I picked Unhallowed, No Gods, No Masters, and Rotten as my stand-ups in this one too, but there's plenty of other tracks in here to enjoy, so please do check this out and let us know what you think. Just quickly, Jeff's having a good chuckle at my comment there about the Oilers. But Rowan said, I dig this, which is cool. Nicole says, this band keep delivering the goods. Going to get some love here for this one. Chris says, I'm going to give the album a good spin, but on its own, the reference track I found really predictable. Okay, check out the whole album. I really do. I normally choose the reference track not out of personal taste, but out of just sort of what's the most recent one, for example. And in the rugby, I believe. Woohoo, Parramatta beat Melbourne. There we go from Nicole. Jeff says, I think I need to check this band out. I haven't heard anything since Blackening in 06, but that was a pretty good album. Hey, here's Dean. Good to see you, buddy. He's going to give it a spin. Love Machine Head. Hey, guys. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well out there. Alrighty. One more to go, and we are going to do another massive gear change. It is a night of gear changes, as always, for us here in general. Vinny says Kings all the way. So there we go. All righty. All right. In the comments, in the description box as well, but in the comments now, you're going to find a reference track from a little band called Circus Maximus. It's the only video I could find, I think, from the band, but also from this album, which is a track called Namaste. So Circus Maximus is the band. Namaste is the reference track while we go through our Patreon choice classic album for this week's live stream. So it is Circus Maximus with 10 tracks for 57 minutes. A third studio album from the Norwegian band, released June 2012 via Frontiers Records. Produced by the band and Christian Weber at CM Studios and Ocean Sound Recordings in Norway. A slightly more obscure release. It's hard to get any real sort of single or chart information on this one, though. There is a video for Namaste, which I found and linked in. This is said to be one of the band's more accessible releases overall. It's celebrating its 10th anniversary this year and is this week's, like I was saying, Patreon choice album review. So if you want to get involved in that one in choosing the classic album each week that we do, get involved in the Patreon page and just sort of sign up for any tier you want, just even a couple of bucks a month. It all helps out, and you get to vote on this thing every single week. Alrighty, over to you, Dave. How'd you go? This is much more in your wheelhouse normally.
It is indeed, but I have to admit, I have been dragged out from underneath my rock this week because I have never heard this band at all. I've never even heard the name. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't sure what to expect, which is fun. Part of the fun things of doing this show.
Yes.
And after last week's episode, where I lost my shit over Guns N' Roses and Kiss, I figured this week I could be a little bit more subdued. That was before hearing this album, which in a lot of ways reminded me of the first time I heard Dream Theater, specifically the images and words change the seasons era.
Okay.
Fuck me, this is good.
All right,
musicianship and composition on this album is nothing short of amazing. After doing some research, this band used to be a Dream Theater cover band. I haven't heard of many of those going around. And I can hear it all through what they do.
That makes sense then.
Beautiful guitar tone, especially during the melodic soloing. Nice changes. You know, there are some solos that switch seamlessly from just phrasing to shredding and back again, and just makes it so interesting. The lyrics are really thought-provoking, and the mood created with the music suits the stories being told. I really like how these stories unfold. It's dramatic storytelling. I can imagine this live would have a really cool light show and a really cool video show behind it as well. After a short little instrumental opening to the album, we get Architect of Fortune. That's a 10-minute epic track.
Yeah.
Very nice little acoustic part in the middle, and excellent guitar melodies, which develop into heavy riffs, you know, and lyrically it's deep soul searching, and you can tell these lyrics are important to the guy who wrote it, but they're left ambivalent enough for the listener to ascribe their own thoughts and meanings to it, which is fantastic songwriting. The closing track, great bookending with two epics. But Last Goodbye, that song's amazing. If you want to know how emotive a guitar can be in the hands of a musician that knows how to use it, listen to this song. It starts out, it creates this mood of just elevated happiness, and it draws the listener in by what's unfolding musically. Then the lyrics kick in, and this is not a happy story. This is about loss. And musically, it created a false sense of security, and it's a really well-written song because it gives you one expectation and then just unfolds. And it could have just become depressive and morose, but it's handled really well.
Yeah, they did that well. They walked that line of that sorrow and happiness really nicely across this.
Which can be really hard with this style of music. I mean, we did that fucking album that I said don't listen to it while you're driving or you're driving on a fucking bridge. What was that? Silent Skies or something?
Yes, that's it. Yep.
God, that was like a poster child for depression. But this is anything but that. This is fucking great. And there's 3 10-minute tracks. The rest come in around 5 minutes. Even though on average these songs are shorter than your average Dream Theater song, I think this is a bit more challenging to some Dream Theater stuff. Dream Theater can be really accessible in some ways. This might be the next step. If you got interested in the prog rock world with Dream Theater, this would be some follow-on stuff. But there's a lot to unpack here. Diverse, uplifting, dramatic, and thought-provoking. I could listen to this all day. They've got 3 other albums, so I'm gonna have to take my time with each one. I'm still digesting and consuming this one, but I gave this 9.5 out of 10. I thought this was fucking great. Architect of Fortune, Use, Game of Life, and Last Goodbye are my standouts.
Nice. I had a feeling that you would enjoy this one, but I didn't know if you'd heard them before because I hadn't until this point.
No.
Same as you. I'm
sometimes you just hear a band name.
What? Oh, hang on. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here.
Okay, cool. You dropped out or something dropped out. I don't know, but you were saying sometimes you're about.
We're back.
One of us got the spinning wheel of death there, but we're back. But no, it's one of the funny things when you discover a band you never heard anything of, but you've heard a name before. It's one of those ones which we definitely got here with this one for both of us, which is cool. It wasn't just me in the end. I expected me. I wasn't so sure that you would have been over this band or not. As far as the more progressive side of things goes, this is quite dramatic. There's a lot going on in this album. Right from the opening little instrumental, you get this feel to it. There's going to be a lot of emotive weight to all the music being presented here. It's loaded with melody. This has everything from really beautiful open spaces to ballsy as fuck riffs and the double kick drum that goes with that too, which was a pleasant surprise in the context of the album. So I thought they did that really, really well. There's quite a range within the songs themselves, which then translates across the entire album really wonderfully and makes this quite the riveting listen. Great tones across this one. The guitar and vocals in particular, again, really grab your attention, but the balance of beauty with aggression is really well balanced on this. Even the acoustic moments, there's a little acoustic little fills here and there, which are just really nicely done. They sound great on this record. There's it's funny that Dave mentioned the feel in the playing, because I've got that here as well. There's some great feel in this one, especially in the guitar solos, which for the more progressive side of things, that's what I'm looking for, and that's what gets my attention. I don't like the staccato, sudden, abrupt change. I like things to flow organically, and this does that. But the feel and the playing is what sells it. That's a wonderful element, like I was saying, especially in the lead work. There's lots of little things too in this one too, like percussive little elements laid into the background. There's a lot to take in on the deep dive listen. It's one of those albums where, like Dave said before, he's still digesting it. And that makes perfect sense, because each time you listen to this, you're going to hear something different you haven't heard before on the previous listen. So there's a good half dozen or more listens in this week, and you sit there and go, okay, I haven't heard that bit, I haven't heard that, and different things will pull your focus different times, which is the mark of something really well written and performed. I like how the keys on this one have a different sort of tone across this, and how blended in they are as well. They add life and color without overpowering anything at all. They still have enough focus in just the right times, though, which is another nice little touch. It's sort of the counterpoint to the softer acoustic moments. They use a synth to sort of just push things along a bit more, which is a nice little touch. The whole thing is well mixed, well balanced, like I was saying before, but it's not only applicable in the production, but also shown in the writing and performances. Everything about this speaks to serving the songs and the music and the album overall, which is just, there's no ego attached to this whatsoever, which is fantastic. There's also great use of groove on this. Tracks like Namaste, which is the reference track tonight, that there's a little thing in that too that has a little bit of an Indian sort of pipe, a Eastern kind of pipe tune in there. It's like really fucking subtle, but it's such a cool little effect. But the grunt in that track is sort of offset by that little sort of pipe moment in there. So there's this really ballsy riff, but there's this subtle little element. There's a lot of attention to detail in this, which I thought was really well done. And it's really well done lyrically across the board too. The lyrics, the storytelling, fantastic. That coincides with the music really nicely. I don't think it's quite as blunt as what we got before with Machine Head, but there's something more subtle, and it does get under your skin in that emotive way. It's not depressing, but there is a lot of, somber sort of feeling to this, along with that sort of bit of hope at the end, which is, again, hard to get that right, but they did it well. What I love about this from top to bottom is how organically it flowed. Like I was saying, within the tracks themselves, but also across the album. Everything fits seamlessly. The performances are great. Everything serves the songs. Good range of emotions expressed. Everything is really smooth across this. Takes you on quite the journey, a bit more than you expect when you start listening to it, actually. It's a really immersive listen. Will reward you on repeat spins. I liked Used, how it was a heavier track, and they didn't forget subtlety in that one as well. So again, even when they're being heavy, they're being subtle. And when they're being light, they've still got moments of weight in either the emotive or the lyrical weight being presented there too. So it's always this light and shade back and forth, the peaks and troughs that I'm always talking about. But they're also sort of using them to offset each other in the same song in the same moment, which is really well done. If you want to check out one track on this, make it the Architect of Fortune. That's the prime example of, the album in a song kind of thing. But this is impressive stuff. I'll be digging more into this band because this is my first serious listen to them. Heard the name, never really dug into it, but this is pretty fucking good. Well worth your time. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I picked Namaste, Used, and Architect of Fortune, but there's some cool tracks in this one around those ones as well. Something for everyone, I reckon. One of those ones where doesn't matter what you're into, you'll find something on this release, which is pretty cool. It's very easy to get into. So curious about the other ones when they say they're not quite as accessible as this. I'd be curious to see where they would go. But hey, what do you know? And Dean gave us a spoiler. He was saying, sorry, I was watching the footy. So-and-so beat so-and-so by 3 points. Yes, it was a 3-point finish. No spoilers here. Nicole says, different, but not in a bad way. Rowan says, so this might have come about from my voting. I don't know if anyone else voted for it, but I was surprised it made it. But yeah, totally love this band and album. You were one of the main drivers, but yeah, someone else came in and started voting for it as well. So it got pushed.
Thank you for giving us a cool album.
Yeah, it was a nice choice there, Rowan. Well done. Darren says, great band, brilliant album. All songs in this are awesome. Love Architect of Fortune and Last Goodbye. If you haven't heard these guys, you're missing out big time. There we go. And Darren was another one that voted for this in the Patreon group as well. So, yeah, so thanks to both of you for pushing for this one because it really did sort of jump up toward the end there. Rowan says this was Circus Maximus' third album was much more accessible than their first couple, which split the fan base at the time. Remember, it surprised me too, but I've come to love it, which is nice. Cool. Conrad said, digging this song, we'll def check them out. Nice. Rowan says, here we go, Dave. They're Dream Theater's equals right across the band, and their live performances sound amazing too. They haven't released a new studio album since 2015. Sounds like one is in production, though, which is pretty cool. All right, I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Also from Rowan, if you have any interest in prog, then give this a few spins. It'll be stuck in your head, stuck in your skull, rather. 9.5 out of 10. Nice. Cool. Dean says, cheers, Dave, for the Kiss playlists and albums you sent. Revenge is killer. So there we go.
Man. Thought you would like it.
And Rowan also added, sounds like all their albums are going to be re-released sometime soon as well, which is cool. That's nice. Good to see that. And Dean says, love the shirts, by the way, lads. Yes, we've got the Motorhead today, and Dave's got the Anthrax going on, so we're both, suitably equipped to do a broadcast like this one. But that starts to wrap us up now. A big shout out to some special, fantastic Patreon supporters of ours. So TC, Sonia, Lee, Bell, Conrad, Jeff who was here tonight, and Conrad you'll see next time. Jason, Brendan, 16x9, Marty, Sam, Trash, Carolyn, Gwyneth, Andrew, Daniel, Man Family, who are here in the chat as well. Adam, Darren Sutherland, who's here tonight, and Vinny Vincent as well, who's here too. There's a few in the Patreon crew that are in the comments tonight. So thank you for your support and thank you for jumping into the comments. Good to see you. Love having the interaction with you all. And if you want to help us out, then check out our Patreon page. Details are in the box like everything else. What have we got? So we are on TV every Thursday and Saturday night. We're starting about now on Channel 44 in Adelaide. But then Saturday night is 10:30 p.m. Channel 31 in Melbourne. But you can watch whatever you want to do at whenever you want to do it. Basically, you just got to watch it at the same time as a broadcast because we can't host the program. But it's streaming basically at the same time via ctvplus.org.au or via the CTV Plus app. What else? I don't know what we're doing next because it's 2 weeks away. We're going to have a week off next week. Yeah, got some things to do, so I'm going to take a week off and we'll be back. And we've got a lot of, like Dave and I were talking last night, we're going to sit down and try and do some extra little sessions, not live, but just sort of sit down and just knock some extra reviews because we went through what's coming up and what we've already missed this year. And there's just so much.
We've missed a lot. We've covered a lot, but we've missed a lot as well.
I know. So there's some serious work to get done. We'll try and do as much as we can along with some more deep cuts kind of stuff too, which we're slowly getting the grip around that as well as we work through things. Just we were on a good roll and then my time got compressed. And like I said, there's the week off coming up. So it all sort of pushed things into a bit of a tailspin. But once we get through next week, it'll be all systems go. That's basically where we're at. But yeah, we'll take a week off. We'll still be posting and doing things like that here and there. Maybe not as prolific as normal, but we'll be, well, not that we're not that prolific anyway, but we're trying to be more active on social. But we'll still post, still do some things, but we'll see how it all shakes out. We'll see if Dave and anyone else comes up with any questions I want to ask the audience as well during the time away. But we'll keep things going. We're back again very, very soon. We're not going to be gone for long. It's just a week off, and then we'll come back and start talking about Megadeth and other things as well. Dean's asked the question, Thunder Mother review. That is one of the bands we do want to get to, so we have some things there to get through. And Darren says, great show again, guys. Enjoy your break. Thank you very much for that. We are going to take a quick week off, and then we'll come back in a fortnight. But I think that's it. That's the usual stuff. A big thank you, of course, to our fantastic sponsors in Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt, Colt, and Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, are in the description box. So give them a like, a follow, a share. Do the same thing to us. If you like what you see and hear here, then yeah, give us a thumbs up or a like or a subscribe or a rating or a review, whatever. Everyone gets to fucking say the same thing, so you know what to do by now. But now it's time for us to do a bin before we get out of here for a couple of weeks. So, Dave, what are you putting in the bin this time around?
Yeah, pretty simple. Bands cancelling tours without a valid explanation.
True.
Yep.
This will be a fun one. I want to see who catches on to what I'm putting down here. This is always fun. I am going to put in the bin today people telling other people how and where to spend their creative energy. Focus on you doing you and less about what other people are doing. It's okay to like interact and do things like this. But when you sit there and objectively tell someone what they should or shouldn't be doing with their own creative time and space, just focus on your own self. Get your own shit sorted out. The world will be a much better place if everyone just focuses on doing something positive with their own energy instead of trying to tear people down for doing what they want to do with their energy. So that's my bin for this one. Something to think about for a couple of weeks out there for some people that I know. But that'll do us for right now. We'll see you all again soon. I guess got some comments coming through. So Jeff says, this week for me, it's Trump in the bin. If this fucking head and toupee would fit. Q Priest, ram it down. See what I did there. Rumor has he's been selling state secrets to foreign powers. That'll be a fucking mess enough. We'll see what happens with that one. Dean says, Andrew, you need more than a week off for what you do here and behind the scenes. Well, thank you very much for the kind words there. I do my best to keep up where I can. It does get to be a bit, but every so often, or we don't get to take time away, my wife and I, very often, so we're taking advantage of it this week. We're going to do it. Vinny says the Butterfly Effect will have released their first album in over a decade by the time Post return. Ooh, okay. Well, I have to go and check that out too. Didn't know that one. I have to go and put that on there as well. Nicole says, have a good break. See you in a couple of weeks, which is cool. Thank you. We're looking forward to seeing you again as well. Sally says, thanks, guys. Cheers. Thank you for tuning in. And Conrad says, thanks for a great show again. See you in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to having you join us for that one as well. But that will do us again for now. Anything else there, Dave, or are we good to go?
I think we're good.
We're good. All right, cool. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Until then, you know what to do. As always,
drink up.
and rock on.